Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mr. and Mrs. E.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best Grandy, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mr. E Crimecast. I am Mr. E. I am joined tonight by Mrs. E and, of course, our guest, Auntie. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you guys today?
Good, good. We kind of weren't sure when we were going to go live next, and glad to finally find an opportunity to do that. It has been a while for us, a little over 2 weeks, so appreciate everybody's patience with us on that. And I see all the orange hearts. We do very much appreciate. Anytime I go into somebody's chat, we always see folks do that for us, and it always makes us smile. So I know you're praying for our son, and just so you know, at this point, we're kind of still in the same place. Everything's going well. We're just waiting to do a new MRI. That's still not scheduled at this point. So, but should be probably here in the next few weeks. But welcome in Walter's mom and Mary Harris, Not a Drama Nana, Stephanie Williams, Melanie Hauser, Shannon Pisces, Leslie Keep It Real, Just River P2, Deanna Downey, Moonflower and Medicine Man, Tiff, and Tiff says a lot. I have been having withdrawals from the east, so glad that you all are back. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe it's a good thing if we're away for a little while. If we're here like several times a day, then might get sick of us. I don't know. Possibly.
I get sick of us.
Maybe every 2 weeks is a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it works better. Doreen Piper Martin. Let's see. Melanie Hosser, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Good to see you. Also, Karen Lynn, L. Kennedy, Belinda McLean, Alicia Hot Wheels. It says she'll be in the bushes driving tonight. I do that a lot too. I listen to a lot of live streams while I'm traveling, and I always sometimes I feel like I want to go in and say hi to people, but I know I'm getting on the road, and then I know people are going to say hi, and I feel like, oh, they'll think I'm shunning them,
We're
or whatever.
often on our phones too, and it's so hard to it's like impossible to tag on phones. It's very hard. So
yeah, I mostly listen to live streams when I'm like with the earbuds in or in the car. So I'm often not watching. I treat it more kind of like radio for myself. But
Tiffany says that she's going to have to disagree with that. Every 2 weeks, I'm going to have to disagree with that. Can't be doing that to us. LOL.
I know. Well, we always intend to go live at least once a week. That's kind of the goal. We just things have just been crazy. We're at the end of school.
I was going to say they can relate. Those of you who have kids understand that the end of the school year is just one thing after another. So we have just been busy with that as well. In a few weeks, we'll be at the beach visiting Aunt E and Granny. So we will be able to, we were joking about streaming every day that week.
Yeah, we might. I mean, we'll be right there. We'll bring the equipment with us, or at least some of it. And all in our little Hawaiian style shirts and tans and everything. We'll do like we did last time. It'll be fun.
And I saw Kelsey and the Real Me Too. Some of our mods are here. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate your help. Back on track with Kat says, hello, my favorite crew. That was very sweet. We appreciate you.
I see some of our regulars, Karen Alberini, Graham.
Graham, I miss Graham.
Tar Heel for Life, Sharon Marlowe, Becky Parmenter.
I got time today.
Yeah.
Opal. Well, this might be a good time. We've got some of our faves in here. It might be a good time to go ahead and give chips every month. And I know it's been a month, or it feels like it was April.
We've had some long stretches this last 6 months where we've kind of had, things going on.
So congratulations, let's do Tar Heel for Life. Tar Heel for Life said she made the Dean's List.
That's amazing. Awesome.
Congratulations.
You know what? Before I do that, let me do this. This is let's see. Let me do this real quick. Let's give her some confetti. It's been a long time since we did that.
I always forget about our little bells and whistles we've got there.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Tar Heel. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I still have a bad cough, guys. Sorry.
I do too. Mrs. E and I are both kind of getting over it, but it's just kind of hanging and lingering around.
All right. Let's give some memberships.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. We might as well just get on with it, right?
Yes.
All right. Here come the first 5.
All right.
And got
I
one?
got one.
That's
Well,
not
that was
fair.
a waste of a membership. Oh my
Sorry.
goodness. Well, it looks like Walter's mom, Tar Heel. Oh no, Tar Heel just says thank you, everyone. Michelle Weddle. I can't read. It's going
Just
too fast.
River P2. Back on
yeah,
track with
I saw the
Kat.
name.
Awesome. Oh, and here comes Detroit Rock City, and welcome. And I'm going to do the next 5. You guys ready?
Tar Heel for Life is a history major. So that's
Oh wow,
Awesome.
history's our
Yeah,
fave.
that's great. Do you have a favorite era of history that you kind of honed in on?
Are you talking about me or Tar
I'm
Heel?
talking Tar Heel
Oh.
for Life. I was just curious. Usually,
I was like, we've
I've
been
done lot of
married a
history
really long
majors.
time. You know what I like. So
I'm just curious if you had like a favorite.
yeah.
Usually, people kind of hone in on a
I got time today.
World
Says,
War II or Civil War or whatever year it is.
that was funny. Let's see. Here come the next 5. Okay.
Robin.
You get a membership. You get a membership.
Mima, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's good to do it now. Reward the people that are here right at the beginning of the live stream.
Absolutely.
You know?
Melody
Absolutely.
Murphy, Pink Life Christina got one. Got those went away quick. Wow. Congratulations.
We got a ton of folks in here already. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here. We I never take that for granted. I appreciate everybody joining us, and I know we are inconsistent in how often we are here and when. 4 o'clock is an unusual time for us to start, but here we are.
Oh, Tiffany, you read our mind. Did you guys see Tiffany's question? Where I lost it.
About Koberger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Mystery, are you guys thinking of doing the Brian Koberger trial? That is yes. Yes, we are going to do that. The stories we always end up being drawn to are the ones where there's just a lot to understand, and there's lots of questions. And I realize that we know who our suspect is, but there's still a lot around that case that are going to be really interesting.
I was saying
there's
this
stuff coming out
today.
every day, it seems like, on that story. So
Mhm.
we will end up doing we'll end up putting together our own.
I think we're going to do another 10 thing like we did today.
Yeah, with Koberger, we'll do that. I don't know if that'll be this week or next. By the way, that video we did today, Mrs. E worked on that all weekend, and on the editing, that was all her. She did a great job on it.
Mother's Day working on it.
She did. She pretty much that was pretty much her whole Mother's Day. So she did a great job with that. That is some tedious work. If you ever do any editing, it takes a little while. So she did a great job with that. I just jabber.
Mima's right. She said you are going to do another trial when we get Sebastian back.
That's right. Well,
Yes.
also
Absolutely.
tell them the trial you want to cover, which we didn't realize started.
The Diddy trial started today. That was, I know the opening arguments were today, and it's pretty graphic so far. Just the little bit that I was able to catch. So I thought that was it's a great one as well to kind of have some facts about and to see how it's going to proceed.
Thank you, Graham. I can't believe it's been 7 months either. But thank you so much for being here and supporting that. That helps us.
And Graham's a moderator as well.
Just River says Pooh Diddy.
No kidding.
That case is so graphic. If we do it, we might have to just go do it on Rumble. You know,
Speaking of
because
Rumble,
it's crazy.
do you have? Can you share a Rumble
link?
link
Maybe.
for those of you who haven't joined us on Rumble. We do also, so if your YouTube is down, something's going on, we usually also are broadcasting on Rumble, so you can also join our Rumble channel.
I have to check and see if I have it.
It's just our backup.
Hold on.
I might have it.
I have it somewhere. I'm not good at self-promotion. You'd think I would be, but I'm not.
Well, we need to, that way we always have a backup. I know there's a few other channels that I watch, and if something's happening there, or YouTube is messed up, or Rumble is messed up, there's always a backup. So it's a great way to have a backup for your channels if you have some favorites that you don't want to miss. And we try to broadcast on both.
Are we on both tonight?
We're
did
on
you do-
both right now.
Yeah, we are. Okay, yeah. I know you have to
Of
kind of set
course.
that up a little differently.
Well, Rumble, I don't really understand their memberships and things. We don't have anybody over there that is a member. They follow us. So
Yeah.
I can't, even when I'm gifting memberships, I can't really give them to everybody that's involved.
But if you're watching us at Rumble, thank you for being here. We
You know
appreciate
what?
you.
We missed Opal Sisk. Opal Sisk says hello. Hello,
Ah.
E-family member for 3 months. Thank you so much for being a member. We appreciate you, Opal. I love your
Yes,
name.
thank you, Opal.
It says we have some people watching in Rumble. So if you're joining us, from
It does?
Rumble, yes, it
Okay.
does. Did you
That's great.
share it?
I just share YouTube ones. I don't really share that it's on both. I just put
Okay,
it up there.
I was gonna go.
I'm with the real me too. Rumble confuses me. So
I'm sharing the link now. So if anybody
Maybe-
wants to join our Rumble, I'm just sharing tonight's link so you can find our channel.
hey, by the way, you understand Rumble. You could just handle it for me.
I don't
because I don't understand it.
I don't necessarily understand it. I just know, I watch it a lot. I watch a lot of Rumble. But that's the link for today's video. If you click on that link, you can go in, join us, but you can come back to YouTube and watch us on that if you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're watching this on YouTube now, we don't want to send them to Rumble.
Right.
So
I was trying to figure out how
we're
to
just thinking if we are going to do stuff that we just don't feel comfortable talking about on this channel on YouTube, that's just a little more graphic. Instead of having to censor what we say, we thought we might try doing it on Rumble only, exclusively.
Right.
Rumble, Becky, is another it's another video platform. It's got live streaming, it's got videos and things. We pretty much do things simultaneously on here and on Rumble. And the reason we do that is Auntie's a big fan of Rumble, and a lot of people that we used to watch on YouTube have moved to Rumble. So
There's some people that got kicked off this platform, went to Rumble because it's a little bit more free speech oriented in their kind of censorship criteria and such. You can talk about certain topics there that you couldn't talk about here at different times.
Thank you, blessed mom. Just tuning in. Good to see you all. Continued prayers for Middle E. Thank you so
Thank you,
much. We
blessed mom.
appreciate that. Well, you were going to tell everybody a little bit about us for the new people that that may not know about us. So
yeah, so we did the video today on the two kids that we're going to be talking about tonight, Jack and Lily, and so we just we had a lot of new subscribers and a lot of names in the comments that we have never seen before. Lots of folks that actually just live in Nova Scotia and have been following the case. So I'm going to guess and assume that we will have some of those people joining us tonight. So I just kind of wanted to take a moment to kind of let you know who we are. There's a lot of I remember when we got into the whole Sebastian Rogers case, the YouTube true crime community was new to us. And so we really didn't know how to navigate it, who was who, what everyone's approach is. And everyone does kind of approach these topics differently, and they're there for different reasons. But just so you know kind of who we are and why we got here, we saw a void, at least at the time we believed that there was not there when the Sebastian Rogers case happened, that there was kind of there was a lot of agendas, people wanting to push certain narratives, side with different parents and perspectives. And we really wanted to have a place where you could kind of have a more critical thinking, logic-based, open-minded approach to true crime and discuss the possibilities and be okay if you got something wrong and change course, to be more of a truth-seeking kind of approach to particularly that case, but then others that we've covered since. That was kind of part of why we came in here. And the other reason was that our oldest son has severe autism. And so the Sebastian Rogers case happened in our county. And so we became personally invested before we ever dreamt of having doing a Crimecast or podcast like this. And so we were following the story daily in different media.
and talking about it daily with each other.
Yeah. So we were discussing all of these things, and our son had wandered off when he was younger a few times, and that appeared early on to be possibly the case with Sebastian. And so anyway, that is kind of how we got here. And now we've been doing this now for almost or I guess over a year now, haven't
Mhm.
we? Yeah, we're over a year doing it, and we've loved the community that we've attracted here. A lot of these folks we've met in person at different events and vigils and court hearings and such, and or just through online. And that part of it has been amazing, especially through the live streaming
Well, it's been
kind of
over a year
experience.
now.
It has been a year.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
been
been a
over
year.
And we didn't celebrate it at all.
We forgot to.
should've-
We should have had like a 1 year
Do you
anniversary.
remember what was the date of our first?
I can find it while y'all are talking.
I was
Why
just-
don't
I was
you
just
talk to
curious.
everybody in chat and I'll look.
I think the
right.
channel was created like in late April, but I don't know when we did our actual first
I have no idea.
live stream. It wasn't long because when we decided to do it, it was like we'd started like 2 weeks later when we were like, let's do this. Let's just try it. Having no idea that there would be this many people,
That
with
actually
us.
watched us.
Yeah, we thought we'd be talking to like 20 people every night, it-
Or
it'd
in
be-
ourselves.
Well,
and that'd be great.
We did for a while. We talked to one person repeatedly for a while.
It was we were just at a-
Adrian.
we could have just
Adrian.
Adrian
FaceTimed.
abandoned us.
We could
He
have skipped
did.
YouTube altogether and just FaceTimed Adrian every night and talked to him about the case.
Absolutely. Let's see. Our
And he
very
even-
first
He
one.
even wrote a song for us.
Yeah, he took it down. So I think
He
we
did.
made him mad. I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him since his first couple of
Excuse me.
months. But
Yes.
Our very first episode was May 12th, 2024.
No way. That's
Oh,
today.
is that today?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, look at us. Okay, I was thinking it was late April for some reason. Well,
That's
Well, isn't
so
that
funny.
do our little.
convenient.
Well, that is. You know what that deserves?
What's it
That-
deserve?
That deserves a machete party.
Oh,
Let's do a machete.
I don't know.
No. Okay, we'll wait for the likes. No
a
machete party
machete
tonight.
party?
Okay. Well,
There's got to be
birthdays.
something better than that.
You have
Maybe I've got a
anything?
happy birthday song.
Yeah, do the birthday.
I don't know. They're going to get mad at me for cutting down the machete party.
That's funny.
a
We had
lot
no
of
idea it was
people
today.
that don't follow the Sebastian Rogers case won't have any clue what it means.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
And I do. Where is it? I don't even know.
Thank you, Opinionated. We've missed you guys too. We appreciate you being here.
Okay.
But we're just getting started, kind of saying hello to everybody and kind of just letting folks know our perspective and how we plan on approaching this story also and others.
Okay. I'm going
Real
to.
Me Too
all right.
says machete party.
Okay. How about we do a happy birthday, then a machete party?
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
So that is nice. It's got a little.
Birthday.
Well, that's so funny.
It
That is
is.
funny. Well,
We-
thank you, Tiff, for gifting the membership there. We appreciate that very
Aw,
much.
Tiff, thank you. If you got the membership from Tiffany Machete,
Oh,
please.
that's Tiffany Machete?
No,
Oh.
well, it originally, yeah.
Oh, okay.
A long
okay.
time ago.
She's changed her name a couple of times on
Yeah.
here, I think.
Neuro V received the gifted membership. If you received that membership, please tell Tiffany. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you very much.
That is so sweet of you to think of us. I was going to do the machete party. Well, I have to for her because I know she loves it. So,
Yes.
all right. For those of you who have no idea what this means, I apologize.
She also said she was going to bring a machete,
Karate,
machete,
karate,
machete,
karate,
machete.
karate.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, let's get started. Hi, Rubicon. Welcome in. Sonia, hello. All right.
Can't believe it was
Deborah
one
Godwin.
day.
I cannot believe it was how funny because we just kept thinking over and over. We were like, we should just go ahead and go live today. We just kept talking about it all day, and then here we are. And it's our 1 year anniversary. I should have changed it. We should have had a party, like a members only party or something.
All right. I think I'm going to try to share the screen here.
My
Did
favorite
that
part,
work?
Belinda
There
said
we
her
go.
favorite part is the side eye.
Oh yes.
Well, here,
that
I'll just give her a quick.
is-
There you go. You can just have the side eye. You don't have to have all the other stuff. All right.
All
Whenever you're ready, sir.
It's up, right? Have I
Mhm.
got it up
Yes.
there?
Yeah,
Let
it's
me-
there.
Missing Children
Okay, good.
Society of Canada.
Yeah, so this is why we are here tonight, and so this is we're now in day 10 of these two kids being missing. This is Lily and Jack Sullivan, and I'm just going to read kind of the details here, and then we're going to get into this case. So this is from the Missing Children Society of Canada. This is their flyer. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan missing from Pictou County, Nova Scotia. And after we did our video today, everybody corrected me on the pronunciation. I think I was pronouncing it Pictou, but it is Pictou County. So I will forever have that right now. And it has a picture of both. Lily's on the top here, missing since May 2nd, 2025. Last location was Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Physical description on Lily is she has shoulder-length light brown hair with bangs, might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Physical description for Jack is short, blondish hair, wearing blue dinosaur boots. And of course, if you have any information on the missing children, you can contact Pictou County District RCMP, which is 902-485-4333, or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 8477. Then, of course, you could also call Missing Children Society of Canada, 1-800-661-6160, or you could send tips in to tips@mcsc.ca. If you want to save that flyer, can they save that, or can we? Maybe we'll put it on our community later. Would
I
that
can
be
do
okay?
that.
If you want to spread that around, this is a situation where we don't know. We really don't know what's going on with these kids, where they are. We don't know what happened to them. I know for me, I don't have a preconceived idea of what's happened to
All
these
right,
children.
let's ask them in chat. Let's see what they think.
I know they're adorable, right, Grammy? I mean, they just the picture. There's only I don't know, maybe 15 or so pictures of the kids, but they are 4 and 6. I mean, that's just as innocent and sweet as it gets. So it's just awful to think about, of course. And when we get into this case a little bit, if you're hearing it for the first time from us tonight, you're going to see there's a lot of possibilities as to what happened. So I don't have a working theory myself at the moment. I see about 4 or 5 possibilities.
I think we need more information. You know,
Christina has a good point.
It's easy to jump to conclusions on this stuff, and I think we all know that. There's a lot of similarities to other cases we've talked about. But I don't want that to close my mind. Does that make sense?
Right.
I don't want that to close my mind. I just want these little guys home.
Yeah. So
what were you going to say?
No, I agree. I want to keep an open mind on it. I don't want to get tunnel vision on this story and kind of hone in on one idea when maybe
There could be,
we're ignoring another possibility. I don't think there's enough information to draw a firm conclusion one way or the other. I mean, there's some issues with the parents, obviously, but there's also some explanations that I could come up with in my mind to kind of explain away some of their behavior. So I don't know about that.
Wait, did I see Grandma Chachi's here? Hi, Grandma Chachi.
Did you read Christina's comment? I thought that was really
that is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So Christina says, one valuable thing I'm learning from this case is that the U.S. government treats Native Americans differently than Canada does with the First Nations people, especially FBI in U.S. versus RCMP in Canada.
And let's see, Tiff, I was commenting on her. She said so many of these cases sound almost identical.
They do.
Very, very, very much so.
Even some of the language that's been used. I don't believe they walked off. Of course, Real Me Too. Kimberly Murphy, welcome in. She says, I'm about 30 minutes away from that area. RCMP are always very hush-hush.
Oh, thank you for being here, Kimberly. I'd love to get any perspective you have, just kind of like about culture, the area,
right?
What it is like. From what I've never been to Nova Scotia.
Hi, Bear.
From what I've read, it's hi, Bear. It's a very remote area from what I'm reading. That there's like you're driving several kilometers, as they say in Canada, just to get to any nearby town for them. That
Mhm.
they're really out there in the sticks. But yeah, any insight you have is wonderful, and we appreciate you being here. Yeah, and there are a lot of similarities. I've seen people say this reminds them of Summer Wells. Some people it reminds them of Sebastian Rogers. Some the two boys. I never can remember the last name.
West.
The West children
Mhm.
out in California. So there's
And
been a,
some of the language used has reminded us of
Megan Boswell.
yeah.
and Megan Boswell is the one I keep thinking about.
Hmm.
This case, that's the one but maybe that's just because we covered that trial a couple of months ago, so it's still fresh.
And on the 22nd, everybody, we are going to do the sentencing for Megan Boswell live.
Yeah, we will do that.
Detroit Rock City.
I've heard people say Chris Watts. That some of this reminded them. Some of the statements remind. So there's a kind of,
We
but
also have another local.
1 second. I want to thank Detroit Rock City for being a member for 7 months. That's awesome. And she says, happy anniversary. Love you all. Well, we love you right back. And we appreciate you so very much. Thank you for being a member for so long. Thanks for putting up with Aunt E for that long.
Joanne says, this terrible. What happened? More children gone missing. I am from Nova Scotia. Yeah, I wonder, and that's another thing. As we dig into this story, and we're just kind of trying to learn to make sure we've got the basic facts down at this point, and then kind of start honing in on things.
Kimberly also has she said, any questions I can help with, don't hesitate to ask. Their location is remote, but not too far from any of the busier towns or cities.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I had read about them not having cell service out there and things like that. So I was, imagining that I mean, you think of the little ones out in that, you see the pictures of those forests and those hills, and it's. I mean, I know a lot of folks are saying they don't think they wandered off, but man, if they did, they could not. In my mind, they could be not that far from the home and still not be found, because it's just so thick and treacherous out there. Yeah, and a lot of people are covering it. Seashell says that Dee Dee just did a new video about the case. I think it was members only when I looked at it, so maybe it's opened up now. Deception Detective, of course, is great, and yeah, we'll probably at some point go over what Deception Detective has had to say about this too. He's one of the best at that statement analysis stuff, and so what we decided to do for our approach on this story was to first kind of lay out the facts as we knew them in that video that Mrs. E did. One reason we did that is we realized, well, we primarily covered the Sebastian Rogers case over this last year or so. And when we had new people come into the case, it was almost impossible to get them caught up to where things were, to kind of like, understand the story. It was kind of like we'd all been doing this for a year. So part of the idea is having that you can kind of do like a crash course on the basics of the case and understand it with that video. And so we thought that was kind of the most important details that we put in that. I guess, do we want to pull that up and start with that, or do you want to go?
I think that's I think starting with that would kind of get us going, and we can discuss this stuff.
Okay. I actually, for some reason, didn't have that ready, of all things.
That's hysterical.
I know.
I don't know if there is somebody asked Kimberly if there was a prison not far from there. I don't know if Kimberly
Hi,
has
Grammy.
info or not, but that's an interesting question as well. And the dogs had no scent. I have heard that their scent did not go past the driveway, which sounds familiar.
You'll have to make it big.
Oh, right, like this?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay, that'll work, won't it?
Yeah, when we're ready.
I tell you what, he's becoming a little technical, Mr. E.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Wow, that's amazing.
Well, thank you, Wow. That's
oh my
very kind of you.
goodness. If you got a membership from Wow, please tell Wow thank you. It just
Awesome.
makes me want to say wow. Let's see who got them. Let's see. Karma Moon Studio, awesome. Seashell, Marie Purple Freak. Let's see. Bunny Murphy, Nanny of 8. Oh, it jumped on me. Let's see. Lars, 2005. Michelle Loop, I Spy. Leap Year Baby. That's a great name. And Ohio Stephanie. Awesome. If you got a membership from gift from WOW, please tell WOW thank you. I think that deserves the thank you song. Can we do that real quick?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
And thank you, Wow, very much for that.
What?
Roman 2 says you better watch out, Mrs. Z. You might not be needed much longer. Don't teach him too much.
If she saw me trying to
My
edit
dream come true.
I tried to give her a break on the editing. I was just deleting stuff and making things disappear. It was ridiculous.
And Michelle Weedle gave us $1.99 super sticker, or is it a super chat?
I don't know if it's a super chat or a super sticker.
Well, either way, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you and very generous. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
It's so kind of you guys. It always just makes me so happy. I don't know.
Oh, it's a super chat.
Super chat. Uh-oh. Does that mean she wants the super chat song? I'm just teasing. Let's see. So let's see. What's the one we did? It's been so long. I don't remember.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to this real quick. Joan says, I would love to hear from Middle E. He is in my prayers as well as your family. Today we were trying to talk to him about being on the show. He's not interested. He's not interested. Like we said, you could come on with us and talk about true crime. And he said, no,
not interested.
I'm not doing that.
Nope. Now you will hear Biggie running around because he's home from school. And actually, I'm going to have to step away here in a minute and have start the dinner stuff.
Yes.
So, all right. I think this is the video.
We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best. Thank you, what a gift. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you. Thanks, so generous. So kind. So wonderful, you make our heart shine. Thank you. We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best.
So thank you very much for that. And so I think what we're going to do, we're going to go through our video basically and go through the 10 points that we thought were the kind of the key facts in understanding the case. I know some of you in the chat are saying that you don't know much about the story, and so hopefully this will be a good place to kind of get caught up on it if you are new to it. And there's a lot to get into with this too. I know we're not going to get into all of it tonight. I've kind of got it ready if we do. But the parents have done some interviews. There's a lot of great analysis, articles, and things that we found that might relate. So I'm just going to start this. If I hit play here, they'll hear it, correct?
I think so.
Okay.
You guys let us know if you cannot hear it.
So I'm just going to stop after it gets through point 1. Is how I'll do
Sure.
it.
We'll stop at point 1 and
Vanished from their rural home in Nova Scotia. A desperate search begins, and still there are no answers. Today, we're walking through the 10 most important things you need to know about the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, what we know happened, and the questions that remain. What happened to Lily and Jack? Lily Sullivan is just 6 years old. She's known to be sweet, curious, and thoughtful. Her little brother Jack is 4, energetic, playful, and always close to Lily. They live with their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and her partner, Daniel Martell, in a rural part of Pictou County, Nova Scotia, near Gairloch Road. The town is named Lansdowne, which just has a population of 100 people, many of whom are related to one another. By all accounts, the children are best friends, happy, playful, and loved deeply by their family. The mother has said it is possible that the children may have mild autism, but they are currently undiagnosed.
They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store, everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids.
On the morning of May 2nd, So the first, of course, is who is missing, and those are the kids we're looking for. I'm going to rewind that a bit just so we have the image of them up.
I have a question. On my computer screen, it looked like it was really slow and jumpy. How about you, Auntie? Did it look weird to you?
It was a little, but not that it detracts from anything.
Okay. It looked weird and jumpy. I promised I did a better job than that. I have to talk about something real quick before we get started. One of the comments we got today on the video said something about I clicked in and heard that AI voice. And
Yeah.
what was it? I forgot what the comment said.
And they had to click off of it immediately because they couldn't stand the AI voice.
The terrible
like,
AI voice.
It's me. It's my voice. You know. That's what
Miss Ree's like. That's me.
I moonlight doing AI voiceover stuff. That's my side gig.
Your side gig? Well,
Yeah,
I was saying if we were going to pick AI, we wouldn't pick one with a Southern accent. So
yeah, I didn't know I sounded like AI. Yeah, that's right. There's that kind of slight Southern accent in there.
Look, they thought it big dreams, tiny budget. I love that name. I thought it was an AI voice also. No, that's Mr. E. He just recorded it right there where he's sitting.
Maybe I've listened to a bunch of AI stuff and was influenced when I was doing that. Mostly, I was just trying to make sure I didn't stutter and mispronounce things, which I did a couple. But mostly I was just so maybe that's why it came off as sort of AI-ish.
I thought it was hysterical when somebody said that.
Yeah, that is funny. Monitoring. Okay.
Maybe you need to be more interesting.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to
crime junkie it.
Yeah, a little. Just trying to not be too. But maybe I need to be more, a little more energy. I don't know. More. I save all that for the live streams.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to add more ums and ers. Yeah, like I do when I do live streams. There I go.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, these are our kids we're looking for, and I don't know what's happened to them. They could be out there. They could. I know that there's not an active Amber Alert, but we're going to get into that.
Amber Alerts in Canada?
They do. I've got it pulled up the requirements for an Amber Alert in Canada, and it's kind of strict. So I know people were saying that because there is no Amber Alert, that means they think there's no abduction, but there's certain criteria they have to meet. So
is it different in Canada?
I could just go ahead and pull it up now, actually,
yeah.
Since we're talking about it. But we're going to get to that in a minute anyway. So I'll do this. Okay, did it come up?
Yes, it's kind of small. Can you make it bigger? Or if not, I can make my screen a little bigger.
Let me see if I can. Yeah. How would I do that? Mrs. E, is there a way for me to make that larger, or should I just read it?
I'd just read it.
Just read
it. So this is from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police website, and this has their criteria for Amber Alerts. Amber Alerts are issued in Nova Scotia when police have confirmed a child or person of proven physical or mental disability has been abducted and the situation is time critical. They're used only when all of the following criteria have been met. So they've got 4 points that have to be met, and all 4 of them have to be, not just like 3, but all 4 of these will have to be met. Police have confirmed that an abduction has taken place. The victim is under age 18 or of proven physical or mental disability. So we know they've met that criteria. There's reason to believe the victim is in danger of serious physical injury. So for this kind, if it were like a custody issue, that they're not going to get Amber Alerts in Canada. And then lastly, there's information available that, if broadcasted to the public, could assist in the safe recovery of the victim. So like
is different. That's a little bit different than here.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to know that the child has been abducted. And if they have any question about it, then they wouldn't be able to do an Amber Alert, right? And then they would also have to have information that could help. A license plate number, description of the suspect. I guess you could kind of say maybe like just the description of the children themselves, but they want to have information that could help find the children quickly.
Right.
And they would have to believe that the children were in serious danger. So, so if, let's say maybe they haven't ruled out abduction, if they're, if we don't know what they know, but if they have not ruled out abduction yet, or ruled out foul play, or ruled out lost in the woods, or any of that, then really they couldn't by their own criteria put these kids out as an Amber Alert. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
And so we'll go back to
Teresa. Hi, Teresa M is asking, how early can a child be diagnosed with autism? Our son was diagnosed at 18 months. So
the warning signs were spotted earlier than that for us.
Well,
just slightly past a year.
Yeah, he was not quite 18 months when we were at an appointment, and our pediatrician said you might want to do a test.
Well, they would never ever say it.
Right.
They just kept testing him, and they wouldn't tell us what it was for. We were first-time parents, and we didn't know. He would. Well, that's a whole other story for a whole other day.
But in general, the earlier the better, because that early intervention can make such a huge difference in their long-term success.
Right.
So
it did with ours, because we managed to get 40 hours of therapy for him a week from age that 18 months to 12.
Yeah. So he made huge strides. I mean, I think in a weird way, I don't know how to say this exactly, but when your child has a severe autism like ours does, it's easier probably to spot when they're younger.
Yes.
With doctors and such. When it's really mild, it might take longer to diagnose, like when they're 4 or 6, when you start to really see. I have no idea. She, that's what the mother said. I don't know if she kind of seemed to want to downplay the autism bit. So maybe she's not certain if they do or not.
She kind of acted like they might, but they hadn't done any testing. That's kind of.
Well, I would encourage parents that see any signs whatsoever to definitely get an evaluation done, because even if your child is language delayed or anything like that, you can get services when they're young to help out with that, even if they're not officially diagnosed with anything.
And that early intervention can make huge differences in their ability.
All the difference in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and if they're real, autism is diagnosed on observation. So if you get the early intervention when they're really young and they're borderline, once the symptoms are gone, you sort of don't have autism in a way, because it's all unobserved data. So if you can get them enough work to where they overcome those hurdles, you can mainstream them in school, and they don't really have any observable disabilities. Belinda says, I agree. My son was 5 before diagnosed. Wish we had known earlier. I did not notice he was slower doing things than my daughter was.
Yeah. And girls are actually usually faster than boys.
Yes. So that's typical for a boy to be a little delayed.
And Real Me Too says ABA is a big help. ABA is the reason our son can talk now.
Yes.
He did a lot of speech therapy and different things. And I'm not saying speech therapy is a bad thing, but ABA actually made him talk. And it's the best. So
yeah. Real Me Too. This is what I always tell people: ABA and diet. If you have anytime I know anybody that's got a child with autism, those are the first 2 things I suggest people, address, because those were game changers, and we did lots of stuff, but those 2 were huge.
ABA is the reason my daughter talks now too. It's an amazing therapy.
Yeah.
Kimberly had a really good point, though. She said, as a local, just because of rumors versus facts, there's so many accusations right now. The stories people are coming out with, in her opinion, are very far out there. So I think this case does lend itself to lots of speculation and lots of people just guessing and making up stuff and causing, a circus storm of, I guess, theories as to what happened.
Go ahead. You can read it.
Oh, Roller Girl says, autism doesn't ever go away just because you can't see behaviors on the outside. My kids never looked the part of autistic past toddlerhood. They still struggle with a lot that people can't see. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I just, if your goal is to is to mainstream your children to a point where they can live productive, typical lives without any kind of assistance. That was our goal, of course, with our son. We're not there, but that was sort of the goal. We had an advocate once say to us, because she had a son with autism and was helping us through that, and she said, "Well, what's your goal?" When they would ask her, "What's your goal for your son?" and she would say, "I want him to be a taxpayer." And I said, well, you kind of think about it, and it's like, well, that's a
great goal.
That's a good goal for them to be a taxpayer, to be able to be independent, and all of that,
earning their own living. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and Neuro V says, my son had ABA, also home ed from 2 to 7, had to fight in UK for it.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah, it's
we
you
had to
always
fight
have to
for
fight.
ours too.
Yeah.
Our son's older now, and we had to fight really hard because they didn't even know what that therapy was back then. Not really. It was fairly new to the area.
Yeah. It's and that's another thing people would say to us early on. They would say, with autism, you are your child's best advocate.
Yes.
And so, well, I don't need to be my son's best advocate. I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about autism, but it's true. You do end up being, because nobody's going to stick up for your kid like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And make things happen, because the insurance companies, the school, nobody really wants to give you the work, the assistance that they really need, which is lots of hours.
I went rounds with the insurance company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
S Butterfly Kisses says, my nephew is high functioning autistic. He was not discovered till later in his life. My sister thought it was dyslexia, which is known in our family history. I could see that. Our son was obvious. There was an obvious switch, and it was he tippy-toed walk. He did everything that you would expect. So
yeah, hand flapping, all of that, the sounds and things. So his was
he was so social, though. We thought
yes,
we thought maybe he wasn't at first before he was diagnosed, because he was so social. He wanted to be where the action was. He still does.
Yes, he likes to be around people. He loves
everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he loves parties and people and all of that. And so there were some things about him that made it where we wondered if maybe it was something else, but anyway, so that is the situation with these two children, is whether it's autism or another learning disability, something along those lines, the mother at least had suspicions of, which of course actually puts them in a higher risk category anyway with children.
Well, and Detroit Rock City made a comment, also neglect can cause a child to be behind. And there were some issues about their living conditions and things like that are kind of easy to see when just looking at pictures. So, some of that delay could be those reasons, but we don't know enough.
We don't know enough yet
to know for sure.
And Blessed Mom was saying that didn't the mother and partner contradict each other? One said they're verbal, one said they weren't.
I don't know if he said that they weren't.
I feel like I saw something from the aunt that said they were verbal, or no, were not verbal. I don't want to speculate.
I don't know. I haven't heard the aunt.
Maybe we'll get into some more in the interview stuff.
Yeah, I've got the interviews pulled up. When we get to that, we could do that, or but yeah, so there are some contradictions, no doubt about it. And there might be good reasons for that, or there might just be I kind of want to keep an open mind on it with the parents at this point until we just have better understanding what's happened here. But anyway, so
I hadn't heard. Someone also said they missed a lot of school, according to the bus driver. I hadn't heard. I heard that they had missed some prior to their disappearance, but I don't know a lot about the record.
Yeah, I've heard. I was actually looking for that article with the bus driver. I couldn't find it today, but I'd heard about it. So we're gonna. Anything else we want to talk about with the kids before we go to the actual disappearance?
I don't think so. Other than they're adorable.
They are. I don't. They're just
them. We'll talk about school later, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll get into
Okay.
that. We're gonna do
Hi, Sarah. Suspicion and opinionated. And I saw Grammy Southern Wolf. I saw a bunch of our friends coming in. I hope you guys like this time. This time was my suggestion. I thought we'd just give it a shot because I feel like we're always going against our friends at night. So I wanted to kind of give this time a shot to
Yeah.
see what we thought.
Um,
Garrett,
yes.
awesome to see you, Garrett.
Garrett.
Oh,
I do
I'm so
remember.
happy.
I do remember in one of the interviews she did say they would go up to people in the stores and talk people's ear off. So that obviously means they're pretty verbal. She did
True.
say that, and I did hear her say that.
Could be a situation too where kids are more talkative around certain people and not around others. You know, sometimes kids are very talkative at home, and when they get in public or around, you know,
Mhm.
it's hard to say, not knowing them. So we're gonna play part 2, or this, I guess, number 2 on our list. This is gonna be the actual disappearance itself.
They're just extremely sweet kids.
On the morning of May 2nd, 2025, their mother says she woke up from a late morning nap. She was in bed with her partner and their 1-year-old daughter. While drifting in and out of sleep, she had reportedly heard them playing inside the home. But when she went to check on them, they were gone. No signs of forced entry, no loud noises, just vanished. 911 was called immediately, and a vulnerable persons alert was issued that same day. According to Malaya and Daniel, it is believed that both children were wearing boots. Lily was dressed in pink and may have taken a white backpack with a strawberry pattern with her. It is unclear if one or both children were wearing pull-ups at the time.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, the room, like, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call.
More than 160. All right. So I'm going to scroll this back here to the camper so we can get us. Where is it?
That's a good.
I want to get that because that's the door, right? That they think they went out.
Right.
Yeah. So their story, it has kind of changed, but what that means, I'm not sure at this point. But they generally seem to believe that these kids, sometime between, and this has changed too, that the dispatch says 8:00, I think, is what they believed. That but the parents are saying 10. At one point they say 8:30. So some of this is on the timeline we're not really sure about. But they believe they went out that sliding door, played, and then disappeared after that.
And that's our son.
Yeah. Having a good time out there. And thank you, Serenity, for the super chat. She says, I think the boyfriend might know more than he is saying, but he is, to me, showing he shows more emotion.
Oh, Serenity, thank you so much. That means so much to us. Very much to us.
I do think he has a little more emotion when discussing it than she did. She was kind of matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, she's not talked a lot either. I think she's just done the one on-camera interview. I can't find any. If there's others out there, I have not been able to find it.
Rusty Pipes. I'm not sure I understand the what do
The
you think
voice
about?
voice?
You mean the video that was put on Facebook that looks similar to Sebastian? That was very interesting to me. I felt like we're not talking about that case right now, but just to give you what I said to Mr. E, I said, it's very interesting to me because we're talking about growth from a year of growth, a year during adolescence, a year of potentially not being, on medicine that might hinder your appetite.
Yep.
And I said, the gait is very similar. So, and what I mean by gait is the way he walked. So, I thought it was really interesting. Really, really interesting.
We usually kind of, when we see these pictures and things, most of the time we're like, no, that's
No.
not him.
Yeah.
It's not him. That one we couldn't. We just
We
all of us.
couldn't
We
rule
couldn't
that one
quite
out.
say no.
Mhm.
And I know that Seth's people are taking that seriously.
Well,
Yes, very much
we've
so.
seen a lot of pictures of ones that have been turned in. We've seen lots of them, and I don't think there's any of them we were even would think was close. But this one really,
I usually
because
can
of
rule
the
it out quickly. Yeah.
Mhm.
The
It
only
really,
other
and we all looked at it separately and said the same thing.
the
Mhm.
only other one was the North Carolina one.
Yeah. North
That's the
And
only
Carolina.
one where I
it
thought
was it was pretty close, and I think the tennis shoes and all that made that one very believable.
he had his head down. It was really hard to get the facial features,
Mhm.
but anyway. So if you're not sure, we're talking about a possible sighting of Sebastian Rogers out in Bristol, Virginia.
And very excited about it, really.
The video was kind of older, like several weeks, but
It was
April
actually April 9th.
yeah.
I thought it was 8th.
Maybe it was
But
8th
anyway.
or 9th.
So we are hopeful. Maybe he was in the area. It's possible he's
mean,
out there somewhere.
Wouldn't that be glorious?
And I know that the investigators and their team are taking that very seriously. I have not heard anything about any success on it, but or if it's him or anything like that. I just know they're doing what they need to do to investigate it. I don't want to say more than we should say.
That's all we know.
But it's being taken seriously.
And then I wanted to say Uber Fubar, love that name. New suburb. I'm a behavioral statement analyst in the UK, and they both have guilty knowledge.
Okay.
So, well, thank you for subscribing.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And we would love to hear your input on this for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Uber Fubar.
I love
That's
it.
a fun one to
I
say.
love it.
So welcome in. And I love statement analysis. I put a lot of weight on that, more than the behavioral stuff than the body language. Although I like the body language stuff too. I think the statement analysis is a better tool.
Where was that posted? It was posted on Facebook. Maybe if we get through all of this, we can pull it up real quick and kind of just talk
Sure.
about it for a minute.
But so this is the theory of the parents that they've laid out, is they think those children went out this sliding door, played, and then vanished from there.
Well,
I know
Robin
people
made
have
a-
said.
Robin
Sorry, go
made a
ahead.
point. She said a lot of people are saying the whole backyard is fenced in, but if you look, many of the boards on the fence are gone, and they could have easily walked through the fence. So yeah, you can see that in the picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of circumstances around the day they disappeared. I'd like answers on, because there's the grandmother and an uncle that lived in that camper on the same property. I'd like to know if they were home
Right.
or around when that occurred. And I've heard talk of a dog. I'd like to know what kind of dog they have and where the dog was, because if a stranger came on the property, and if it's a barky dog, which I would imagine out in this rural area, any stranger that came in, a dog would lose its mind, right?
Mhm.
Most dogs would, because they wouldn't be used to seeing. I wouldn't think. I would just like to know about the dog.
And Sierra, I'm not sure when these pictures were taken. But yes, I agree. It almost looks like they're putting up a new fence. When you zoom in, it looks like they're putting up a new fence. So that, we just
Or
don't.
replacing boards, something. Mhm.
Mhm.
Either way, this area is not. I mean, it's not like locked down. This seems like the kids, if they wanted, they can get out of that fence.
Now, I did see this, Detroit. Yeah. I did see that. I can't remember where I saw that when I was doing
Yeah.
the research. I did read that.
Yeah, we did read about this. So what she's saying is on the second day, on May 3rd, the mother walked away from, I think Daniel's the one saying this, that she walked away when they were giving the update interview and sat in the back of an ambulance, and shortly afterward left with her mother. That was May 3rd, and she hasn't spoken to Daniel. Well, I didn't know about it, law enforcement since then.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's interesting. I mean, this is another one I kind of want to.
We just want to
I
be
want to
careful.
be careful because if I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit,
Right.
knowing what I know about just listening to true, because I'm a crime junkies fan. I've listened to that more than I have anything else in true crime. And the YouTube thing was kind of newer to me, but I've listened to lots of different cases and stories. And if I ever found myself in a situation like this, I would lawyer up immediately.
no matter what.
I would, because there are people that get targeted that an investigator can hone in on the wrong person early, and you could find yourself. I wouldn't go if I had any indication at all that I would target an innocent. I would get a lawyer. So I can't. If she felt like they were really honing in on her at some point early, I can't blame her for getting a lawyer,
Well, I think
even if
that
she's innocent.
Do we know for sure she got a
Uber
lawyer?
Fubar said their narrative begins right out the gate at getting up in the morning, so it happened before then. That's what her opinion is, and that's
Well,
know.
yeah, there's some, yeah.
No, I don't. I don't know if she has an attorney, but if that's true, that she's kind of walked away from it all. She's not talking to media, and she's locked down her Facebook and social media. If she's not talking to law enforcement, I don't blame her for that. Actually,
I was going to say, I would lock down my Facebook too, probably.
I would do that too,
because people would be, researching all the stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe open a specific page, like a group, to spread information for the kids missing. But I would lock down my personal one as well.
I would too.
So, I mean, I know there's a part of you that goes, man, you know what? Why are you not helping law enforcement find your child? But it just depends on the situation. And if she feels like if she got some indication in questioning, right? Or you think, am I wrong?
Well, not helping law enforcement find your child?
Well, I don't know about that, but and I don't know that I would have left the home. I sure wouldn't have left the house.
No, there's no way. You would have to cry my fingers.
Stars Are Good said, I have just subscribed. So far, your coverage is great. I also think the stepdad knows more as well. The mother only gave one statement before her parents came and took her to their home.
See, that's the way I understood it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Graham says, I want to know why she suspects him. Why the mom suspects maybe the stepdad?
Yeah, apparently the family, her family, is at least kind of saying he knows more. And Daniel's like, well, why aren't you talking to me? And why aren't you letting me see my daughter? And there's a little bit of that going on.
Well, and Shannon says the stepdad seems to be more knowledgeable. He does seem to have more, I don't know, empathy or more.
He seems distressed to me, guys.
Yes.
He does. And yeah, he does. And he seems upset about it, but
I did see that, Teresa. I did see that. The mother changed her status on Facebook page to single right away. So
wow.
So this is what we think happened. We'll get into whether or not that's true or not.
Trees, or is it right?
Yeah. Tree says RCMP did not do an Amber Alert. They are aware of something. They aren't talking here in Canada. So someone that was also in Nova Scotia was saying earlier that that they generally don't. That they usually play it pretty close to the vest.
Right.
I don't know. But that's what someone's opinion was earlier.
Oh, whoops! I wanted to show.
Sorry. Kimberly just said she did block him and was told to remove her social immediately, and apparently the police told her not to speak to media at all.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
Can we confirm that though?
We don't.
Yeah,
we'd have to confirm that.
Do
We've
we
heard that
know
from other people that we know is not
Right.
accurate.
Do we know that they've told her that?
Like, I mean, other cases is what I mean, guys.
Right.
I don't know that we know that they've been told that. So that's kind of in the possible pile, right?
And Uber Fubar, that's you may be right about that. I'm just keeping an open mind right now. So
oh, okay. So Ubar Fubar, who earlier said that they do statement analysis, says I'm working with RCMP and they keep me in the dark. LOL. They should. That's a good thing.
They must have very tight lip like the FBI.
Yeah, you can't have it all leaking out unless they want it out.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason there wasn't an Amber Alert.
People have a lot of interesting thoughts on this case already, and this is I don't know. I don't know about this.
Kimberly said the only reason I'm saying that is her mother commented on a post saying that.
Oh, she did.
Oh,
her mother.
There you go.
So that's where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
Still may or may not be true. Right. Not that she didn't comment, but
No,
that
not the
law enforcement
comment.
may or may not have actually told her that. She
Of
might
course,
have.
if you read that, you would think that, of course.
Yeah.
Right, because there are other cases where we've confirmed that people said they're not supposed to talk to the media, and
Yeah.
they were okay to talk to the media.
Somebody said RCMP are a joke.
I can't say anything about that. So
Yeah, we don't know a lot
So-
about that.
Skid victim says, common sense, these kids died in that house, and why would suspicious parents fake this story? They found them dead or they were killed there. A drug or OD would panic the couple to cover it up quick. If that were the case, my understanding is that these cadaver dogs, they would know that they would pick up if someone passed in the home,
right, and there have
that-
been dogs.
even if they're not there anymore, that the cadaver dogs would know. So if that's true, if something happened in the house, then law enforcement certainly knows, even if they're not telling us that cadaver dogs picked up on anything. They might keep that information from the public.
Uber, you're going to be one of my new faves. You're so funny.
I'm no psychic, but I see silver bracelets in the near future.
It sounds like Mr. E.
I know. I've made predictions and I was wrong before, so you got to be careful with those. But
Big Dreams, Tiny Budget says that they were not cadaver dogs, just scent dogs.
That would.
But I
make it-
mean,
Are we 100% certain there weren't cadaver dogs though?
I
know there
read
were scent dogs for somewhere.
about bringing
Yeah,
in cadaver dogs. I don't remember what date that was though, or what report.
Receipts or it didn't happen.
I know. Well, we've been kind of crash coursing on this case the last 3 days.
We
or
really
so.
have.
So let's go ahead to. So now we know this is the general story of the disappearance. There's the mom. Well, we've got that full interview we could play later if we would like. So let's get into the
Okay,
how.
everybody's saying they just had scent dogs, but you'll have to find the article.
Yeah, somewhere I saw something about them bringing in cadaver dogs, but it wasn't at the beginning. It's a more.
Oh,
recent
that's
report.
what it is. Okay. Big Dreams, Tiny Budget says they have said there are only 12 cadaver dogs in Canada, but they plan to bring some in. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what you read.
Something like that is what I'd heard.
Okay.
So I just didn't know if it had happened yet or not.
Also, I have to think about dinner. Would you like me to get that taken care of?
Oh, I was getting
Sure.
ready. I'm going to step away for two minutes. Okay.
What?
Sure.
What? I have to step away.
I can do it.
You
I
can do it on your
I'm just
own?
about to play the
And
third.
still
take you
talk to
off.
chat?
Well, I don't know about all that,
It won't take me more than 2 minutes.
All
but
right, hurry up.
I'll play this third section. This is the what part is this? We'll find out. Oh, the search. This is what the search was like.
Call.
More than 160 trained search and rescue personnel were deployed, including ground teams, RCMP, K9 units, helicopters, and drones. The family home sits in a dense, heavily wooded terrain. Searchers combed over 4 square kilometers, but they faced steep hills, swamps, and thick underbrush, all made worse by lingering damage from Hurricane Fiona. Despite every effort, there was no sign of Lily or Jack.
The officers and searchers on site are following up on anything that comes up that provides direction, provides specifics, and provides something that can be used to narrow the search.
One of the most debated. Yeah. So, I mean, just look at that area too. I mean, that is. See, this is so different. I mean, obviously the case we've been covering the last year was the Sebastian story, but this isn't. This is a totally different situation with this kind of remote. You're not going to have ring cams and security cameras and traffic cameras. I mean, I would guess you could probably drive for miles without being picked up by anything out on these country roads.
I would think so.
I mean, they don't even have cell service in areas. And how many of these people have ring cams or security cameras? I would guess very few would have that. So anything could happen out in a place like that.
Oh, it's not that remote. Haha. Well, actually, Kimberly, one of the things we were listening to, I actually got the dispatch calls yesterday. We didn't include them in the video because I just didn't feel like there were anything that what we'd gotten through so far was not crazy enough to add in. But one of the things they said is that the mom did not have service at the location. and that they had to take her somewhere so they could upload the pictures. That was one of the things they were talking about. So maybe it's just different cell services don't
Right.
have,
Okay.
just kind of like when we go camping. Sometimes AT&T works really well, or
Sure,
sometimes
sure.
Verizon works really well, and other places, one might work and another doesn't. So
I guess I'm looking at footage like this, and what I mean is like you don't have like it's not a neighborhood at all. You could walk down this street and not be picked up by anything, and walk into the woods, and
Oh, okay.
Um,
We've got a lot of Canadians, or
we
I don't
do.
know, are they considered Canadian or Nova Scotian?
I would say Canadians. I mean, I guess some of them are from Nova Scotia, right? And wasn't there? So I've also we'll have to check the weather at some point, but there was also supposed to have been lots of rain around this time.
It does look like a lovely place, though.
So if they, one thing we're going to be wondering about later on is whether they actually disappeared the morning they were reported missing, or if they had been gone for days prior because they weren't in school, and the parents, or they maybe whatever reason, maybe didn't report them missing right away. Something else happened. Maybe they were gone actually on April 30th or May 1st or whatever. If there was rain in that time, and they thought, I just think there's a lot of possibilities whether or not but if there was heavy rain, then what impact does that have on dog scents and tracks and all of that if the search didn't happen till days after they actually left?
Our sweet Deanna Downey says, then how did the mom call 911? And I actually said the same thing yesterday. And I believe that iPhones, I don't know about other cell phones, but even if you don't have service, you have the ability to do SOS, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And I don't know how readily available Starlink is in those areas, but I know some phones do hook up to Starlink or satellite reception to do 911.
I know Nova Scotia is in Canada. I understand that. What I meant is do they call themselves something different? That's what I meant. Sorry.
Like, do they generally refer to themselves as
Canadians or Nova Scotians? That's what I meant.
Canadians, but
yeah,
kind of like if you were saying you're a Tennessean or something,
right? That's what I meant. I know they're
generally
Canadian.
would refer, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to. I don't want to offend people.
Yeah, so they say both. They refer to themselves as Nova Scotians and Canadians.
Well, yeah, because it's similar to like the states.
Like
it's a province.
If it were like a prideful thing, like if you were
right, that's why I was trying to be respectful.
If you more identified as a Nova Scotian or a Canadian, like
right, because we're Tennesseans.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're saying it's like saying you're from New York or Texas. Yeah.
Perfectly imperfect mom. You mean she didn't call the non-emergency number? That's an inside joke if you follow Sebastian Rogers.
Right.
And I think in the interview does Daniel say that he's the one that calls? He talks about driving around and looking. I think
I believe she said she called in her interview.
It's her. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe he said we called or something. Okay, I think
Deanna says she's a Floridian.
Okay, so we're going to get into the Amber
New
Alert.
Brunswicker.
Yeah, I guess it's these kind of shots. I mean, it's just where you could walk. It looks like you could walk for miles without coming on somebody's property or a farm, or and that stuff is thick. I guess I wouldn't rule out the possibility they're out there in the woods, even if they've done a 6-day search. That stuff is so thick. There are times where bodies have been found after multiple searches and people have been within a mile of their home.
Well, that was one of the things that, you have over 160 trained searchers in these woods, and the terrain looks treacherous. I mean, and if they're having trouble getting through the terrain to even search, it would be hard to believe that little kids wouldn't get caught up in it.
The difficult part is you've got 2 kids in a way.
Right. It is.
That's what makes this less likely, maybe, because it's 2 of them. If it were
that's
one,
what we do is we talk about this stuff, use critical thinking, and kind of
Yeah. I think actually that is two instead. If this were one child, I don't even know if this becomes such a big story, but because it's two, seems more likely that it's something
else.
illegal or criminal involved.
Well, Real Me Too says it's disturbing that they called off the search already. But see, we don't know what they know. We don't know what they know, or we don't know what we don't know.
Well, you would think with the wood so dense and so heavy that if they believed they were out there, they would have continued the search and brought in more manpower. So
Correct.
I feel like they know more than
they're saying.
Than they're saying, and so that's why the search has been called off. They're trying to build their case.
Possibly, that is possible.
Yeah, and Real Me Too says they it should be easier to find, especially if they just walked away. Exactly.
Right. There'd be more like you would like if it were one, you would imagine, okay, well, maybe they fell down a ravine or in a well or something, something accidental could have happened while they were out and got lost or whatever. Two, something like that seems much less likely.
Did you ever get to read that bus driver article I was telling you about?
I couldn't find it.
I'll find it for you.
But yeah, I think we're probably going to do a few streams on this story. Because there's a lot I really want to get to, and I don't think we'll be able to do it without doing 2 or 3 live streams on this.
I'm excited to be doing this during the day, so I'm not so sleepy. I can actually interact.
Yes. Well, and Uber Fubar said I gave RCMP everything on their behavior. They know the score. Trust me.
Ooh.
You're saying you're working on this specifically?
Are you?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I misunderstood that too.
Oh, so I think working on this case specifically.
So I don't think that that's why earlier they said, and I'm assuming I say she. I don't know if it's a he or a she. RCMP knows. And that was another comment. So I think that, and something else we didn't mention, I don't know if you did, Daniel referred to them in past tense twice.
Yes. Yeah. We haven't gotten there yet.
I know that he does for sure.
I believe she does too.
But I'll tell you.
In her brief interview.
This is like where I want to be careful with those. We did a story on Angel Turner where her daughter was 15. She was missing.
No, Angel Turner was the person missing.
Right. That was the girl. Her name was Angel Turner, and she ended up being with a online predator type. Met up with her. He was in his 40s, I believe, and she was gone for a few weeks. And she's back home safe, and he's been arrested. So that's all wonderful. But before all of that was solved, and there were questions, the mother went and did several interviews on a podcast, and to me, it was clear. One of the reasons we covered is it was obvious to us that the mother was innocent, but she did refer to her daughter in the past tense a few times, throughout. And
her mother had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right, she's totally innocent of it. Wasn't even in town. She was hours away, but she did repeatedly refer to her in the past tense. Not always, but it happened like 3 or 4 times throughout like a 20-minute interview. And we knew it. We caught it because we'd been watching a lot of this stuff enough to know, but we didn't highlight it because it was so obvious that the rest of her behavior, she was desperate to find her girl, that there was already suspicion on the dad and different things, and they were digging into her life, and we just wanted to kind of not go too overboard. So I know a lot of people are pointing out this past tense thing, but it's one indicator, but you got to have several, of course.
Sorry, excuse me.
But yeah, it is a thing. It's just like you want to have multiple. So just the past tense alone, of course, is not. Yeah, but I understand what Ubar is saying is past tense referral with no red flags elsewhere, but past tense and red flags. Right. It's like
Uber, not Ubar.
Uber.
Uber
Fubar.
You're so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, but you're right. If there's other red flags in conjunction with that past tense is when you kind of feel more weight. Right.
Yes, Rob, you are correct.
Yeah. Rob says, but she didn't correct her past tense like KP, meaning Katie Proudfoot, did. Maybe the biggest error Katie Proudfoot ever made on any interview was when she sat there and referred to her, said her son would would have been 16, and then she's like takes the big breath. She's just seeing deception detective in her mind, going, "Oh my gosh, she's going to rake me over the coals for this," and then corrects it to present tense.
That would be a lot of stress, though, to think about everybody going over everything
Of
you
course.
say.
But it was a big gaffe by her, and everybody picked up on it, of course.
I mean, everybody did, yeah.
But yeah, she didn't correct it. I mean, and there's a lot of.
Oh, hey, Ryan.
Yeah, I know. We'll get into all this too. Ryan says, I live close to these people and have lots of experience in the bush. In my opinion, absolutely no chance these kids are alive if they are out in these woods. It's so cold in the evening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be very hard to imagine them living in that longer than a week at all.
I'll tell you the description too. We know they had their boots, right? But what else did they have on? And pull-ups.
The missing person flyer said that she was in basically all pink.
Mm-hmm.
The boy, other than those dinosaur boots, I don't know that we have a description.
Right.
Unless it's been in an article I haven't read.
And
the backpack too.
Pari M, I agree with you. There's some Chris Watts language. It sounded almost identical to his interview he did on the news in certain parts.
Yeah, I mean, Kimberly says stepdad had been very cooperative. He's even asked to have a polygraph test done, voluntarily gave his cell phones and computer. He's also asked for everyone else to take the test also. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still kind of up in the air on the stepdad. There's some things I like. I wonder if he's got things he doesn't want coming out, but they're not really like he's directly involved in why the kids aren't here.
Right.
Maybe he's got some stuff he's embarrassed about, wants to hide, wants to downplay.
Right. There can be,
but doesn't mean that he's responsible or knows exactly what happened to the kids.
Right. What is deception detective call that? Guilty
knowledge.
Guilty knowledge, but maybe not what we think.
Because they're,
right. And it can still come out.
So we just kind of, that's kind of, but
maybe you were doing something wrong that caused, the kids to not be watched. Maybe you were, passed out or something. We don't know.
Maybe they have a suspicion of who does have the kids, and they don't. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. I think you might be deceptive doesn't necessarily mean that you are directly involved.
Oh, he said brown shirt and pants.
Okay.
You know what he did? You're right. I forgot about that. In that interview by the car, he did say that. You're right, Detroit.
Brown shirt and brown pants.
He did. Okay. I forgot all about that. I'll tell you, after working on that video all day yesterday, and I'm not kidding, like 12 hours, and because I'm not good at this stuff, I'm learning. After working on that though, things just started really running together.
And Trees says we have to also realize there's a lot of wildlife, some not so nice. I would imagine that's. Wonder what is your big kind of predators in that area? Would it be like bears, cougars, something like that? But see, this is another thing too. When I start thinking this way, 2 children,
right?
You might imagine one getting hurt by one animal, but not both, and then you'd have
No, we're just trying to keep an open mind, everybody. We're not, this is brand new to all of us. So we're just
I'm like SS Butterfly Kisses saying that they didn't feel, they could really say yet. And I think we're just gathering information still and trying to figure out a little bit more about what happened and up to the point of.
Oh, that's a good point.
So Sunflower Sandra says black bears, coyotes, mountain lions. So.
Big Dreams, Tiny Budget has a good point.
I don't see it.
It's right underneath the one you highlighted.
Okay. My new favorite name, by the way. Big Dreams, Tiny Budget's great. Yeah, a predator might get 1 child, but not 2. You wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't think so.
Unless it's like I hate to get, but pack of wolves kind of thing or something, but maybe.
Oh, I thought they meant child predator.
No,
coyote.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's like what a coyote. Yeah.
But even then, you'd have evidence of that after, I think.
Well, I think we haven't gotten to this part yet, but everybody keeps looking at the parents. But there were other people on that property.
There are, and
we haven't gotten to that yet.
I mean, the first thing That's the first thing I would think is just who's around the kids, who has access to the kids outside of the parents. Are
Well,
there people that come and go regularly? Do they have,
Oh, that's a good point, Ryan. Ryan's got a good point.
yeah, if it was a predator, there would still be evidence, I think. Yeah, you'd have like the backpack drops, clothing.
Yeah, look at Ryan's
all
comment.
That.
right.
Yeah, Ryan says they would have found that diaper by now or the backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A predator's not going to eat a diaper.
Right. I mean,
I don't know. We had a little predator in our house that ate a $5 bill. We found a quarter of a $5 bill today, and I was so sad.
Was that from your old friend?
No, that's from Brownie. Brownie, it had to be Brownie.
Oh,
yeah.
I wouldn't call her a predator.
And
after
only
you make me
like,
lose $5, yes, you are.
Like, didn't just take a chunk out of the 5, but ate so much of it that
it's not usable.
We can't. Like if there's like 3/4 of it left, you could probably still get by handing it off somewhere. But
you guys got money just laying everywhere, huh? You just got it throwing it on the ground.
It was coming out from underneath the bed. This little, I was like, what is that?
Oh, I'm sure it's me because I just stick money in my pockets and it just falls out, and I'm ridiculous.
Like a child.
I carry money like I'm a kid.
Yeah, you really do.
They have wallets for those things.
He used to carry a wallet and he would lose it all the time. So I got him a phone wallet. And his phone wallet can't hold money. It just holds cards.
Oh,
I've got to take care of dinner. I forgot. Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to do the Amber Alert part. We've already kind of talked about this anyway, but we'll just get through this part. One of the most debated parts of this case is that no Amber Alert has been issued. RCMP said the case didn't meet the criteria for abduction, but many, including the mother and Sipekne'katik First Nation, have pushed back, hoping an Amber Alert might be issued to raise awareness for the missing children. Chief Michelle Glasgow asked for national alert criteria to be reviewed, especially when Indigenous children are involved. The children's mother. So we kind of talked about that and what the possibilities might be with the Amber Alert there. If you're looking for a good sign from both of them, they have, one of Deception Detective has his, signs of an innocent parent, and one of those would be advocating for your kid, and that she is pushing for an Amber Alert. That is a good sign in her favor that she is trying to, that she wants awareness. She wants a heightened alert out there to find her children. So that would be a good thing that way. And what it means that there is no Amber Alert, I don't know. It could mean that they may just not have the evidence that there's been an abduction, or they may know what happened and
but it could be the opposite, like we saw with Megan Boswell. She was wanting the police to do all this stuff as well, knowing what happened to her. So if something nefarious did happen and the mother knows they're no longer with them, so what if there's an Amber Alert? Oh yeah, get an Amber Alert. I mean, she could be playing playing against them by doing that and being deceptive in that way.
Yeah. And I see people in the chat. I think Trees was saying that there should have been an Amber Alert. And this is one of those debates that comes up every time we talk about a missing kid. Is why we don't have more, awareness in general. Of course, this situation is not like that. This is a worldwide story at this point. But a lot of times, there's these kids they slip through the cracks and nobody even knows they're missing, even within their own community. And why aren't Amber Alerts used more often and such? And I think the reason that you want to have that criteria is that you don't want Amber Alerts to become background noise, where, because most of these kids that are runaways, they're found in 24 hours and they're at a friend's house, or they're with their dad or their mom, and there's a custody thing, or there's a misunderstanding or whatever. And if you do Amber Alerts, if you see Amber Alerts all the time coming up on your phone, you just quit paying attention to it. So to reserve it for just the most extreme dangerous situations with a certain criteria, I'm okay with that myself. But it is a debate that comes up every time. So we're now kind of, I guess, one of the more controversial sections here. This will be the parents. Mother Malaya Brooks Murray and her partner Daniel Martell have both spoken publicly. Daniel works at a sawmill, but was home with the family that Friday morning due to work being slow. Martel has stated he believes the children may have been taken, not simply wandering off. He's asked that authorities expand the search to airports and provincial borders. He has also participated in searches and media appeals. Now, the biological father, Cody Lee Sullivan, has a long criminal history, and reports are that he has not had any contact with the family for many years. As of now, no one in the family has been named as a suspect, and police say both parents are cooperating. According to reports, so that's our parents there. I'm going to scroll back here. It's not
Now, do you know if Sunflower Sandra said RMCP issued a vulnerable person alert? Do you know what that is and how that's different than an Amber Alert?
I hadn't seen that phrase like that.
I hadn't either. I was going to look it up.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Vulnerable.
People are saying vulnerable in the chat.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so Trees disagrees with me, and you might be right. Tree says if there's any child missing, it should go off. It would would alert people ASAP to keep an eye out.
It says,
I understand that.
It says, what is a vulnerable person in Canada? Children are defined as being anyone under the age of 18. Vulnerable persons are people who, because of their age, disability, or other circumstances, are more vulnerable than others. The decision to request a vulnerable sector check is made by hiring company or voluntary organization. So I don't know if that's, I guess that they basically, that's doing a missing person alert because they're what's considered a vulnerable person. But
yes.
That's all I see on it.
Yeah, some people are, I guess, one thing that's been coming up, I've seen this a few places other than here, but people are curious about prisons being nearby. I had seen somewhere that the closest, so Michelle is saying, I think the closest one is here in Halifax. Somewhere I had heard another discussion about this, and people were saying they thought maybe an hour away was the closest prison.
Someone said there's a woman's prison in Truro, Truro, Truro.
Okay.
And yeah, someone says the alert goes out across all social media when it's a vulnerable person alert.
Yeah, I did see that. So I mean, they're getting the word out, even if they're not getting the specific Amber Alert. So that part of it's great too. Yeah, and so these are the folks that we're talking about that were there that morning.
And they do have another child together, the two of them, right? That's the toddler.
Yeah, and we're not quite sure on the age. Sometimes we hear it at 16 months, sometimes 18 months. I think when I did the video, I said a year just because I just kept it broad so that it wouldn't be
right.
Wrong. But yeah, so a toddler age kind of child was in bed with them from what it seems like in their interviews, if we believe that all to be accurate, that they had the child there and we're trying to keep the baby asleep, I guess, or lay down and take a nap with it. I've done that kind of thing with a child that age before too. So if that's true, I kind of understand that. Yeah, and this is a recent report that the CPS is not allowing Daniel to see the baby. Maybe just because of this whole situation being so tumultuous, maybe they're just letting the baby stay with the mom and not going back and forth and doing all that until there's a little more clarity, or maybe there's another reason. But yeah, that's supposedly what's going on.
Someone says Daniel has 2 children with another mom as well.
Yes, I was reading that today. It seems to be, at least it's reported out there. I don't guess I can 100% say that's true, but I've read that at least. Are you saying so? Mamiya, in my opinion, mom cannot see the baby, so the baby's also not being. I hadn't seen that.
Well, I had heard rumor that the baby was taken away and was in foster care. So I don't know if that's true or not. Was something I ran across on social media today, but I have not verified it with any media source. And you know how we are. We try not to put it out there if we haven't found legitimate sources that say that. Another person says mom does not have the baby. CPS has the baby. So it seems like there's several people that have also heard that.
Yeah, we'll look into it just to be sure that's 100%. It's so hard when these kind of stories, rumors can get kind of wild. And so we try to make sure we hone in on what we can prove and know, and if it's uncertain, we try to make sure we clearly say that that's a rumor or a possibility or a theory or whatever,
Mhm.
I mean, that would make some sense. I mean, you just had 2 children disappear. If CPS wanted to step in and just kind of make sure that this other child was in a safe situation.
And I agree with
I don't know
Rob.
what CPS is like in Canada, how different it is.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier to Mrs. E. We were talking off camera, and I said, CPS, the regulations and the way that they do research, take children away, it can be completely different in the United States, because here, it varies to a certain degree, but it's pretty much the same protocol everywhere you go, and the way that they start an investigation and the way it proceeds, and how the criteria that needs to be met before a child can be removed from the home. So it could be completely different in Canada. They just because of the missing child, that could be a criteria. If you have a child that's missing, we automatically take all children away until we find out that you're not part of what's happened. So I don't really know the process there. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to. It was Robin. Robin said, I think there should be an alert anytime a child goes missing. I agree. I think there should be a nationwide alert regardless when a child goes missing, whether that child, if they think the child has run away, whether they think it's abducted, whether they think the parents are involved. No matter what the circumstance, there needs to be a missing child alert, just like an Amber Alert that goes out nationwide. I agree.
Skid victim here is saying that cadaver dog can't prove in 24 hours 2 bodies who OD accidentally. Not enough time for any decomposition. You might be right about that. I don't know about that with the cadaver dogs. How long
it takes?
How long a body would have to be deceased before a cadaver dog would pick up the scent in that location, even if the body were removed. You might be right about that. I don't know how long that would have to be there. So it could be if something like that happened in 5 or 10 minutes, maybe the cadaver dogs wouldn't pick that up. I don't know. So I know there's a lot of rumors about the kind of, I don't know do we want to talk about that, about the potential usage of substances in the home?
I mean, I've heard that as well. I think we've all heard that they're following this case.
I'll just say,
this person just said too, just River P2 said, I think they found drug paraphernalia in the home. That might be why they took the baby. That could be the circumstances that led to them taking the baby once they were doing the investigation. If they did find something like that, that very well could warrant them taking the baby away.
You might, you're right. That's a great point. That would do it, wouldn't it? Especially if it was something other than just like the marijuana kind of thing. I'll just say, I think this couple, I don't know where I heard this either. I think they had been together about 3 years. Is that right? And I'm assuming this is early in their relationship, and they both look terrible for 3 years later. When you look at the interviews now compared to these other pictures, the one with them in the car and here, they look much healthier. So,
they look very healthy. Like, this is a good picture of both of them, I think.
I mean, there might be some filters going on and stuff like that. You never really know, but she's almost unrecognizable 3 years later,
right?
To me. And he doesn't look great either, but of course he's also been searching and out in the woods and tired and exhausted. So there might be, but I know when I first saw them, that was not knowing anything about that. To me, they looked like people that were users that I've known.
Stars Are Good said, as a Canadian, it makes sense to me that the 16-month-old should be removed at this phase of the investigation. So that might be something that's different than in the United States as far as the way social services removes a child and the criteria, like I said.
Again, that database that we would love to have, like an international database of this stuff. Would
right.
Be so helpful.
Yes, as someone just mentioned that a minute ago, they said, anytime a child goes missing, regardless, there should be a nationwide alert that goes out. you know, and that
Period.
says
Yeah.
this child is missing. We do not know if they've been abducted, but they are missing. They've been reported missing. They are not at the home, and they're nowhere around the home. You know, and once like certain criteria are met, it just goes out nationwide, regardless of Amber Alert, just a missing child alert.
I
Right.
have to step away for just a moment, a couple of
Sure.
minutes. But if y'all want to go ahead with the next
Well,
thing,
I
that's
wanted
okay
to talk
with
to
me.
some people in chat anyway, because I saw Kelsey come in, and Kelsey's.
Oh, your mic went off. Hang on. Yeah, you'll have to unmute his mic because we can't hear you. Kelsey said, I thought they said Friday night that the Ellie was checking under the house. Not sure how accurate that is.
I heard people reporting that, but I did not see it reported by a source that. I did not see it reported like by a news source, so I didn't know for sure. And hi, Kelsey. It's nice to see you. And or Kelsey. I forget. I always forget. I know you tell me how to do it.
Kelsey.
And then also Terry, she says, I've missed you all. Well, we've missed you too. We're going to try to not take such long breaks.
Someone said, Mima says there is a video of them coming back and going under the house. Do you mean investigators coming and going under the house? I had not seen that.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I would love to see that. I have not seen that. Sorry, I'm just looking at people in chat.
Teresa said the same thing. She said there were pictures of them looking under the house.
I heard it reported, but I didn't see anything. So.
Oh, somebody said, I've heard. Now we have not heard that they were found. This says, I've heard that as well, that they found the children under the home.
No, I think they would have reported that, right?
I think we would have heard that, but I have not heard anything about them being found.
Well, you know, Justin, we love Justin. So if Justin has pictures of that, I'll reach out to him and have him send them to me.
And she said cars everywhere. Yeah, he didn't. That other picture, he definitely does not look as healthy as he did in this picture.
And Lexi says, yeah, there's so many rumors already that it's hard to know what's fact.
Yeah, and we found that with other cases that we've covered. You know, rumors just fly, and it's hard to discern what's real and what's not.
Well, Clutch Them Pearls is a friend of our show, so I will reach out to him. I've been so busy working on this video, I have not been watching my friend's live streams. So, but I will reach out to him. I'm sure he'll be happy to share that with us. And Perry M saw the pictures. Let's see. I've heard that too. It's just that until there's on our channel, we try to make sure that we have a credible source for information before we'll share it. So, somebody's starting to have a meltdown. Ryan says my wife predicted they are under the house. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
I mean, nothing on the wire is showing anything in the last few hours about them being found. Nothing is saying that they have been found yet. Now that's something that happened.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that too.
Okay.
I heard that too. I saw on one of the groups that somebody was like, "Don't go over to Facebook or TikTok if you don't want to see something terrible."
About this case?
Well, it was a hoax. They were saying that they found some pieces.
It's terrible to do.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. There's no updates. That's correct.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a terrible thing to do, right? Me too. I don't know why people do stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Destiny said she said I was going live and a guy was in there saying and claiming that he knew someone on the property that said they found them. But we've not been able to verify anything. I think once they were found, the media or the the police would issue
Yeah.
a statement saying they had been found. I'm sure of that.
I would think so either way.
Yeah, Linda says Daniel said he went in water up to his waist. Was this before or after the RCMP got to the property?
He said he checked some culverts, and
we're trying to find all of the interviews that he's done, especially the full ones, if we can find them. We're trying to collect all that. So we're going to eventually go through everything they've said to see what we can glean from it, but I don't know if I'm going to guess I haven't found them all, because it looks like he's talked to the media a lot. Like he's not afraid to step in there and talk. But
Butterfly Kisses said she also just looked it up and said no, they have not been found. Yeah, that was what I found as well. That they're still not been found.
All right, so let's.
You know what, NeuroV, I have the dispatch, and I did hear about the black SUV. I don't know that if it was rolled out yet or not, but I did hear that on the
well, maybe we could
dispatch.
Maybe we could go through dispatch, because it's long, right?
Well, it's long, and it's a lot of them talking about being in the air with the helicopter. It's not it's
not a lot of
the
detail.
stuff that would be good and relevant to play would take a while for me to
how long
get
is
out.
it?
Oh, it's
if you
long.
played it in full.
Oh, no, it's broken up. It's broken up into like 30-minute segments. So you have to go through and pull out what you want from each segment. So I haven't had time to do that yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of tedious. Yeah.
But maybe a project for me.
You heard it yesterday. It's actually what's funny about that dispatch, because I've listened to a lot of dispatch, and it was the most clear talking dispatch I've ever heard in my life. Very clear. You could really understand everything they say. It was just what you would expect from Canada, I think. Just very polite. And
our dispatch always sounds like a McDonald's drive-through.
Yeah, it does.
Or worse.
Yeah, or worse.
Yeah, I mean it's bad.
All right, so let's.
And a lot of people were asking about the school schedule. Yes, Wednesday was supposedly like an in-service day for teachers, so they didn't miss school Wednesday because they were held out of school. And people were saying they should have done something, to check on them because they missed school. But I don't think they missed school because on Wednesday because of being sick. It was Thursday, Friday that they missed.
I think that's the section we're about to do. Actually, is the school.
Oh, okay.
Cooperating. According to reports, the last day the children attended school was April 29th. There was no school the next day on April 30th. And the children were kept out of school on May 1st and 2nd due to Lily having a bad cough. It was that Friday, May 2nd, that the children were reported missing. Psychologists and counselors are working with the students to help them navigate through the traumatic events of the disappearance. The family lives. That picture, that's my favorite of him.
And I also saw this on the internet in different places, but can't verify that there was a big drug party on Wednesday.
Yeah, I've seen a Facebook post, I think it was, of somebody talking about this, how there were a bunch of cars. And of course, this is one of those things
it's a rumor, so we can't confirm.
I saw the post. Can I guarantee that person was a neighbor or a hoaxer? Right. We don't, I don't know until we
definitely know there are people out there that are just causing problems already.
There are people that do that kind of thing. So maybe there was a party that week, maybe not. But that kind of theory seems possible, that, like a neglect kind of issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rob, AI does have
some
misinformation. I've heard that a couple of times from people.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful with AI because AI will source.
They can't tell.
They can't tell. Yeah.
Credible information or non-credible sources.
Exactly.
Yeah. So somebody says, what kind of mom doesn't check on their sick daughter in the morning? Yeah, that's why we got to get into that interview at some point and just really try to understand
and break it down.
what
Yeah.
she's saying happened. Like my assumption was she had already been up with the children once and then went back to bed. That's what I thought she
That's
was
what I thought it
saying.
sounded like. It sounded like she'd been up and then was laying back down. Like maybe they had been up with the baby at night and they were going to lay back down for a little bit.
But
Well-
that might have been my own assumption. That may not be what she actually says. So we kind of have to, we'll have to look at these interviews and see what they're actually claiming occurred.
Well, you know, when we've had babies before, to get a baby to lay down, sometimes you got to lay down with them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
it is possible that they were both laying down to get the baby asleep and fell asleep themselves.
Yeah, we've certainly done that with toddlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
I'm trying to give them. I know that's probably not what it was, but I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. That's until there's evidence otherwise. We just don't know.
Yeah, so a lot of people feel confident that they didn't see the kids that morning.
The way well, we're going to go over her interview of the steps or that she says happened that morning.
Everything's going to be in these interviews, I think, when we get to that part. But anyway, so it looks like they were out of school at least a few days, the 29th through the 2nd at least. I had seen some people saying that they had been out a full week, like the week before, but I can't find that that's the case. Maybe that's true. But they were at least out 4 days, the 29th, 30th, 1st and 2nd, although one was a in-service of some kind. So anyway, and the reason this, of course, is important is if you don't believe the parents, then they may not have been missing on the 2nd. They might have gone missing the 29th, the 30th, or the 1st, and just been reported later, kind of like the Megan Boswell. That's why this reminds me of her. She went weeks before anybody reported her daughter missing, and it wasn't even her.
Perry.
No, the bus. Okay, so Perry says no. The bus driver said he dropped them off on April 29th. Okay, I mean possibly. I guess if the bus driver's recollection is correct, is what you'd be relying on there, and maybe they're right.
That was the one. I'm going to look up that article because you had trouble finding it, right?
Yes, so that might be true. Okay, so yeah, so the bus driver, multiple people are saying this. So Monday, Tuesday school, Wednesday school, PA day, Thursday, Friday home. Okay, so maybe we were looking at a 3-day window then, the 30th through May 2nd. I mean that's actually helpful in a way because the more narrow you can get these timelines on a possible. I mean, 3 days is still a lot of time when you're not sure exactly when they disappeared.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I found the article.
Unless there ends up somebody coming
you have
forward.
to pay for it.
I hate those.
Yeah. Unless somebody at some point comes forward and says something like, oh no, I saw them playing in the yard on Thursday, or I dropped by and talked to Lily or whatever, so unless. Okay. So people are saying the school has confirmed this out there publicly somewhere. So that's good. So we know that it's at least sometime April 29th after school till May 2nd would be the last time we know. It's somewhere in that window.
I really dislike this website. It keeps telling me I have to pay 99 cents to read it.
So I don't.
That might be why you can't read it. I saw screenshots from somewhere. So
yeah, well, we're going to get a few things wrong, possibly, or likely even. It becomes hard to get to separate fact from fiction because there's people want to push out information so quickly that it can be difficult. But so we're looking at least April 30th through May 2nd.
Yeah, the bus driver says he dropped them off at home after school on Tuesday, the 20th.
Right. That's right.
That's what we've been saying.
That's what we've been saying. They went to
what we said.
Tuesday. Wednesday was an in-service day. They did not go that day, and they were kept home from school on
Thursday and Friday
because of sickness.
Okay, so that is what we were saying.
That's what we were saying. Yes,
Okay.
they were dropped off the 29th on Tuesday. there was no school at all for anyone on Wednesday, and they were absent Thursday and Friday.
It was
So-
due to the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
So if you don't believe the parent's story, then they could have disappeared anytime the night of the 29th through the morning of the 2nd.
Correct.
That's kind of where we're at. If you don't believe them.
Right.
Let's go to
Family
number
lives
7.
in a rural, isolated part of Pictou County. Authorities confirmed there were no recent reports of abuse or neglect, and that the household was not under investigation at the time of the disappearance. Still, investigators have not ruled out any possibilities and continued to look at both internal and external factors in the case. Pictures surfaced online of the home itself, and the poor condition of the home has fueled speculation about the possibility of neglect within the family. Aside from the couple's home, there is a camper located on the property as well. Reportedly, Daniel's mother and brother live in the camper together. It is unknown at this time if they were home when the children disappeared. There have been very few. All right. So I don't know if do we have anything to add about the home life? Okay, that's a pretty good look there, actually. So the
It's
first
blurry
house,
on okay, there it is. Okay.
the home closer to us is their home, and then that RV camper that with that tarp over it's over on the top right. And he mentions also something about having cabins up in the woods and stuff like that. So they have that they're probably little sheds.
Well,
and things.
the way the police described it was lean-tos.
Yeah.
But he
And that's
described them. He described them as cabins.
Yeah, I would say lean-tos are probably a more accurate, right? Like this kind of stuff. Not professionally built. You just kind of do it.
Mima says that's in the back. Everyone is getting it wrong.
That's the back. That's the back of the.
No,
Oh,
this is the white is the front, the blue is the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the back where the back's where the double doors were.
Right.
Right. This is the front side.
Like their yard that was fenced in is the back, right?
Right.
Like that would be their backyard where the sheds and all that stuff are located.
Because you can see the play area.
Yeah.
By the way, Mom First always gave us the cutest super sticker. Look, it's a thumbs up. It's like an avocado with a thumbs up. Thank you so much, Mom First always. That is so cute. I love super stickers. They make me laugh.
And
Thank you.
Skid Victim also said, can anyone confirm the mother had 2 children already taken away from her in the past? If so, why? I don't know of any other children besides these and the baby. Do you all?
I read the rumor, but I can't confirm that either.
Yeah, we're so new to this case. We have not dug into everything yet, but
Yeah.
if anyone else has information on that, you are welcome to share.
The hope is this becomes another Angel Turner thing where we do one live stream and then the girl's found and we don't have to dig.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everyone is saying that this is the back side of the trailer. The front has the sliding glass.
Yeah.
But I believe the way it's setting, if you guys see the car, that
the
goes out.
driveway.
If you go to the other pictures, I might even have them. Hold on. I might have them handy. Let me see if I can find them real quick.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
I agree with this too. Poverty is not neglect.
Exactly.
Right. But people see that, but you can be poor and not, I think it's when people see all the trash thrown all over your yard and these kind of like hazardous looking conditions. That's what, because obviously poverty is not neglect. I agree. I think when people see that people don't care for their home,
see, I would call that
makes you wonder what's going on inside,
Okay,
Right,
so this is
the back.
okay, right. So, so the way that if you guys see where the cars are, when you look at it from an aerial view, the cars are coming from the road. So I guess we're saying that the white would be the front because of the way the trailer is sitting. But I can also see what people are saying because it looks like this side has doors and the other side does not.
Right.
Like it's sitting backward.
Yeah, it's the front. I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. Like I would say the other side, even though it doesn't have a door, is the front facing the road. the main road,
And
right?
that's just semantics. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the side that the mom said that they believe that they came
Yeah,
out
that's the door there.
of the door, the sliding glass
But
door.
sure.
I'll
But
pull
yeah,
mine back down. I just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
clear that
And
up.
Kelsey said she did see a photo somewhere with 2 older children in a photo. I did too. I believe he has 2 children with someone else, and I wondered if those were maybe his 2 children that he had with someone else. I don't know if that's true or not either. I did see a picture with 2 older kids.
Lori says, so Daniel and the mom are in contention with each other. Mom doesn't want anything to do with her boyfriend. Why? Why is mom so pissed off at Daniel, and why is Daniel really pissed off at mom? That's going to be the big question. Why is that happening?
I'll be right back.
And then there's this too, this might end up being a kind of big part of the story too. With Indigenous children, they try to have a family member care for the children before foster care. This is because of the 60s scoop of Indigenous children. Yeah. So that may all factor into how this is all treated.
Yeah, and I see what people are saying though. This is basically the back of the home, but the back is facing the road. So
yeah.
So it the front is what's inside the courtyard.
Right.
And they said the building behind them is a chicken coop, and then the mobile home is where the grandmother and brother lived.
Pamela's asking, are we sure the baby was taken by CPS? I don't know that we know that. I think what we've had Daniel say, he's not being allowed to see the child, right?
But we've had people say that it has been reported that the baby was taken away. So we haven't heard from the news sources. Are going to dig more into that to make sure we give you accurate information. Yeah,
we're trying to get caught up on a lot of this. So that may be right.
And this is exactly right. Lori says, so Daniel and the mom are in contention with each other. Mom doesn't want anything to do with her boyfriend. Why? Why is mom so peed off at Daniel? And why is Daniel really peed off at mom? There's definitely something that went on through the course of this happening that made the mom leave.
Well,
and it could implicate either one.
Well, that's the thing is
either way, actually.
Okay, let's just no one's going to like me saying this, but what if they're both innocent and suspecting the other?
Sure.
And that very well could be as well.
Absolutely could be that way. It could be she thinks he's responsible and that's why she's cut him off, or she's responsible and she doesn't want to get questioned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she's cut him off. Or, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for that, but it's interesting.
And Tabitha had a good comment. She said, I've seen quite a bit of homes on the reservations in BC, Canada that look like that. It's not that outlandish. I know not all reservations have abusive parents.
Oh, there's homes like that all over this region too.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, this looks like Tennessee to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Tennessee, Appalachia, Kentucky. You see lots of this.
Yeah, I see that. I don't necessarily think that children are not being taken care of. I'm just saying that was when this story blew up and then people started seeing the home, that was some of the commentary that you started to see out there, because people are just looking for any angle. When a story gets like this, everything's going to get scrutinized. People are going to zoom in on this home. They're going to look at every toy in the yard, every tool, that's just the way the internet gets on stuff like this. Everything's going to be picked apart. And I know lots of homes like this in this region too. It's not that unusual. May says Daniel went to CPS to try and see his daughter. He was denied access today. I believe you. I would like to see I would like to just see it myself too. Debbie says Josh from the lab had a local call in and she stated that this area has a lot of drugs. We're hearing that a lot too. And, areas like that, of course, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's kind of saying that there's a report out there somewhere where Daniel's saying he was denied access and the CPS is involved.
Oh, I saw that somewhere too. I did see that when I was doing all this.
Yeah. Ivy League flight nurses, all that I'll say regarding the home is that you don't have to have money or be rich in order to be clean.
That's right.
True. I mean, that's
If you've
true.
got running water, you can be clean.
Yeah.
Um, May said Daniel's mom and Malaya had a big argument after Malaya accused Daniel. See, this is all the he said, she said stuff that we can't verify.
Daniel's mother. Yeah. So
Yeah. And then JDR says it reminds me of Don Wall's property. I could agree with that. I can agree with that for sure. And
exactly, Kelsey said there are so many rumors, especially about a party. I have so many questions about that really before I would even want to have my own real opinion. That's kind of the way we are.
That's exactly how we feel.
Well, if there was a party, even if they have kind of spotty cell service and stuff like that, then the investigations, they're talking to those people.
Yes.
They know who they are, and they're finding out if they saw the kids that night.
Right.
If that happened. So could be a good thing in that if the kids were still there, again, it narrows down our window of when they disappeared.
And CC Schrader says this reminds me of the Courtney Bell case, and I do not know that one.
I'm not familiar with that.
We'll have to look into that.
But it reminds a lot of people of a lot of cases. There's patterns to this stuff. You know, that's part of what's interesting to me is like people are not as different as we like to think they are. It's like with the deception stuff and the lying and the statement analysis, people kind of do the same. There are patterns to people when they lie and the way things happen.
Oh.
One of my best friends who's very smart, bright guy, out of the box kind of thinker. He's said to me before that the difference between high IQ people and average IQ people is pattern recognition. And I think I do think that that's true.
Oh, I'm good
They
at
see the
pattern
patterns.
recognition.
Yeah, I think it's true.
I wouldn't consider myself high IQ though.
Yeah,
I know you always say.
So we'll go to part 8.
Hi, Rosebud.
Hi, Rosebud. Thanks for coming in. The children disappeared. There have been very few physical clues at this point, but here's what we do know. A small boot print, which might match one of the children, was found 10 feet from the backyard. Later, on May 6th, a shirt and water bottle were discovered during the search, but police have confirmed they did not belong to Lily or Jack. So far, no other evidence, no dropped toys, no clothing, no scent trail has been reported. And as people are often fond of saying, no clue is a clue,
right,
in and of itself, right?
And Hobo's Life has been a member for 2 months and says, "Hey, E family, how's Middle E? Love you and the dogs and the dog fam." Well,
thank you, Hobo's Life.
Thank you for being a member. We appreciate you so much. Middle E is doing all right. We're still, you probably missed the update from earlier. We are just waiting for that next MRI.
Still not scheduled. They wanted to do it within 4 to 6 weeks. Basically, the idea is that it's precautionary. It's kind of complicated, but basically there might be some healing and radiation and scar tissue, things like that. That's what they think, but they because of the way, just because of the for a variety of reasons, it's possible it's something else. So we're just going to be safe and make sure that there's nothing there. We think there's nothing there.
We pray there's.
I think the
nothing there.
doctors think it's precautionary. So we feel good about that, but of course we'll feel better when that next MRI is done too.
Mimi Ma says,
Y'all must be so tired.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. And it's Mimi Ma.
No, it's like meme. Mima.
Oh.
Mima.
Mima.
Mima. like
we're probably still getting it wrong.
Well, we called our grandmothers Mema blank and Mema blank, like their first names.
It was Mama in their first name, yes.
See, Mimi Ma.
Mimi Ma. Mimi Ma. See, and I look at it like the word meme. Mima.
Well, thanks for joining us, May, or Meerkat, whichever one you prefer. She says, I literally just stumbled across this channel looking at updates about Lily and Jack.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us. And
We try to.
Rita would like to know how you join Rumble.
I have no idea.
When you go to Rumble, I put a link up earlier of today's of our live right now earlier. But you can click on that and then just click on our show, and then you can just follow us, and then you can also set your notifications so that when we come on, just like on YouTube, set your notifications if you want to follow us on Rumble. And we have Rumble just as a backup channel so that we if something happens, YouTube's down or something, we can still broadcast on it. And sometimes we're censored more and groups are censored more on YouTube, so we wanted to have that because Rumble's more of a free speech platform, so we wanted to have that as well so that we would have a backup for you.
Kelsey says her mom is called Gig. That's cute.
I'm a little skeptical on this party too. So I'm not sure how you say Deepak. The same neighbor who said there was a party never noticed the school bus. I'm not totally buying it. I'm not sure if I buy the party either, because you would think a week out, if it was a situation where there are cars lining the road, some names would have leaked out by now. Somebody saying, "Oh yeah, my friend was at that party. So and so was there.
Right.
My girlfriend was there. We were there for a few minutes and left." But to my knowledge, nothing like that has come out yet.
Mhm.
So, cars lining the road like it was like a massive deal. I don't know. I don't know if I'm not quite ready to jump into that story either.
I still have
And
such a bad
it's
cough.
Ace and Pack.
Ace and Pack. Okay. Ace and PK maybe.
Yeah. Ace.
You're ridiculous.
If I can mispronounce it, I will. That's usually how that goes.
And Astrology for Mystics with Jen is here. Hi. I'm just gonna say Jen because I know I'm gonna mess it up. So hello.
Ooh.
I'm happy you're here.
Rosebud. Needs prayers.
I know. Needing prayers for my NV autistic son. May 2nd, he had 4 wisdom teeth extracted and he still can't open his mouth. From May 2nd. Wow. Feeding through a syringe. He's still swollen and not happy, but he's so patient. I'm pooped.
Oh my goodness,
Man.
Rosebud. Absolutely. Let's put some prayer hands in chat for Rosebud.
10
My
days
goodness.
and he still can't open his mouth.
That's not great.
That's not how.
Were they impacted?
He must have had some major surgery.
Wow. That is awful.
Prayers to your child.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for sure.
Kelsey wants to know how close do people live by them. I can pull up the Google map
That's
if you
a
want.
good question. Maria says, or Mariah.
Right.
I told you I'll get it
You're
wrong.
ridiculous.
I'm like the what's the sketch? Key and Peele.
What is it?
Yeah,
the school.
The
where
school.
he mispronounces every
Aaron.
Aaron. I'm like that in real life. Mariah says there were 4 adults living there, 4 cars. You can see cars in the driveway on the aerial view. Some cars look out of commission.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to hear from the other 2 people that live there.
Well,
personally, but they may
Have
just
they
stay
been
out.
interviewed?
Not that I know of.
we haven't heard from them at all. Okay, let me
It's
see.
a Rosebud on the says it was major, and I may take him to the ER tonight. I'm in fight or flight.
Oh,
and
goodness.
10 days seems like you might be right to take him to the ER.
Actually, I think I have.
That seems like a long time. I mean, I know everybody can kind of do this differently.
My kids were fine in like 2 days. So I think that's unusual for sure.
I didn't remember anything for 2 days after, like a complete blackout of 2 days.
But mine were not impacted at all. That my kids did not have impacted teeth. They just pulled them
mine were impacted, but I don't think I stayed swollen that long.
Mine only had a couple days, and that was it. They were good.
I think I found that address. I can never remember how to spell that road. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, JDR. It sounds like a major infection. It does.
Or a piece left in the gum. That can happen too.
If you haven't been in a bit, I would go.
Yes.
That seems like too long.
The oral surgeon, I mean, if you told the oral surgeon that, I would have thought they would have had him come in to be checked. I would definitely do that.
Okay, that's not. Okay.
The bad thing about ER too is they don't deal with the dental stuff that often. And so I don't know how easily they can get the oral surgeon over there to do something.
So Debbie's saying that Justin, who I'm assuming you mean Clutch Them Pearls, Justin, read the brother's record. In my opinion, he is suspicious. Debbie,
the brother that lived on property, yes.
Did any of it involve SA type of stuff or anything with children?
I was saying we've been so busy we hadn't had a chance to watch Justin, but we are friends with Justin.
But yeah, Clutch Them Pearls. I'm sure he's all over the story.
And then Kelsey
and he's
also
great.
said she was thinking that the mom was mad because it was the dad's turn to watch the kids, and maybe they were switching off and he fell asleep, and she thinks maybe that's why she was so angry and left. And it could be. We don't, they've definitely turned on each other. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's definitely interesting.
Why can't I get this to come up?
That was kind of a short section, just the clues, because there really just aren't a lot. So this is where we kind of get into the controversy part. There are several controversies surrounding the case that have raised the suspicions of people following this disappearance. Although she initially allowed herself to be interviewed by the news, the mother is no longer willing to speak to the media. She's deleted or privatized her social media accounts. Less than a week after her 2 children disappeared, Malaya left their home to stay with her parents, raising the suspicions of many. Why would the mother leave her home just a few days after her children disappeared? And there also seems to be a divide between Malaya and her partner Daniel. Malaya's family seems to be suggesting that Daniel may know more than he's saying, while Daniel has voiced concerns about not being able to communicate with Malaya or see his 1-year-old daughter. Daniel has publicly stated that he would like to take a lie detector test in an effort to erase any suspicion. And then interviews by both Malaya and Daniel have seemed inconsistent at times, raising questions within the true crime community. Now, none of this proves wrongdoing, but in a high-profile missing persons case, every action is scrutinized. Yeah, so we've kind of talked about a lot of the controversies already tonight. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of discussion about the parents. We'll eventually get into that too. I know who was there? The person that was here earlier. They had the name that I was mispronouncing. Uber Fubar. Uber Fubar. They're certainly looking at the parents, and they do statement analysis. According to them, they work with the RCMP on this case, or at least have submitted some type of report. Deception detective, he feels like there's certainly some guilty knowledge going on there. We'll probably get to that at some point in the future too. And I think there does seem to be something going on with the parents. Whatever that means, though, I think it could be as simple as it could be bad, but it could also be, it could have to do with what looks like to be drug use around the home, and just not wanting that all exposed, and maybe thinking it indirectly has to do with why the kids aren't there. I mean, there's a lot of reasons the kids could not be there. I mean, it could be they were zonked out for 24 hours, woke up and the kids were gone, and they don't want anybody to know that. It
could be, like I said, guilty knowledge about something else.
It could be the kids got into their stash and something happened, like somebody suggested earlier.
There's lots of things that could happen.
I swear to you guys, I found it yesterday on Google Earth, and for whatever reason, it doesn't look the same anymore.
Well, they can. Well, I don't know.
Well, another thing, it's not like it looks to me from the location, and you might be able to see that once you show it on Google Earth, but it's not somewhere where people are driving by and would see 2 kids out and just swipe them. I mean, they would have to walk, it looks like, a ways in order to get to a main road. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
what it looks like. I mean,
I don't understand what's happened, but I was able to pull it up yesterday, and for some reason now I cannot. So I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm putting in the wrong address.
Could they have? Can't you request to not have?
Yeah, but this is from 2018, and what I have screenshot from yesterday is right there, and it's not the same shot.
Well, why don't we pull that up?
Because it's got their address on it, and I was trying not to do that.
Gotcha.
Can you black it out?
It'll take me a second. You guys can talk while I do it.
And they don't. it's one thing to put their address on there if it's on the missing flyer, but I don't think it is.
It's not on the missing flyer. So that's why I felt uncomfortable doing it. Let me see
Right.
if I can crop it out real quick.
That's another thing to consider too. Big Dreams said, "Has anyone looked to see if there are any child predators in the area?"
I'm
You know,
sure.
that's also something I would think the police would look at is who are the surrounding people, neighbors, what kind of people. I think that was also why people were asking about a prison. Could someone have broken out of a prison, that kind of thing. So we haven't heard that.
This doesn't really answer her question, though, to be quite honest about it.
And someone
About
asked,
other neighbors.
is there flyers? We did have a missing child flyer that we had up at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. I just don't know how if they're. I thought their question was more like, are people putting them out there?
I don't know. They just said, is there flyers?
Yeah, there's this. I think, did it come up?
Yeah, that's on the
Yeah.
Missing Children Society of Canada post.
Yeah, that's the only one I've seen.
And there's also on Facebook, there's a Missing Children of Canada group that you can find some information on the case. That's where I found some of it. It's called Missing People of Canada.
Good to see you, R. Taylor. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, R. Taylor. I'm working, R. Taylor. Hold on. I can't see what's going on.
Oh, I messed up. Did everything go away? It did. All right. Are you trying to add?
I am trying to edit out this so I can show
Okay.
the aerial I have.
Do you want me to wait
No,
to
it's not-
finish this part?
No, go ahead. I'll work on this while you're doing the next part, and then I'll show Kelsey.
So this is actually the last part. Basically, where do we stand with the case here as far as every action is scrutinized? On May 7th, 5 days into the search, RCMP scaled back ground operations. They cited harsh terrain and the limited likelihood of survival. The major crime unit remains involved and tips are still being collected. So far, no suspects have been named, no charges have been filed, and most importantly, Lily and Jack are still missing. Every hour that passes without answers makes this case harder and harder to solve, but someone somewhere knows something. So if you have any information, please contact Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333 or call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Okay.
Until they're found, we won't stop talking about Lily and Jack, and we won't stop searching for the truth. So what do you think happened? 222. Just I'll leave that up for a bit.
A lot of people too are saying that she would not hand over her cell phone. I have you all heard credible information about that?
I haven't. No.
No, I've just heard Daniel say he's given his up. I don't know about her.
Okay. I've seen several people mention that she would not give over her cell phone.
So.
Okay, for your information, there isn't a CPS. It's called Children Aid Society. If you're Catholic, it's called Catholic Children Aid. If you're Native, then it's Native Indian Services. That's who gets involved at each level, I guess. I guess they have different ones. Yeah, in the United States, it's called Child Protective Services. So I guess they have different ones for different groups.
Okay, so Kelsey, this is what I have. And from what I can tell, it doesn't look like they have neighbors very close. I can't, for some reason, find it on Google Earth now. It's probably a user error on my part because I've put in the exact address I had, and it is, I can't get it to come up to look like this again. So I don't know what's going on. I probably just made a mistake somewhere. But that's the screenshot I took yesterday.
Yeah, that doesn't look like anybody real close.
No. But
Now,
anyway,
what's
I'll pull
the
that
name
down.
of the town?
Lansdowne.
I can tell you how to spell it. It's spelled Lansdowne station. And like I said, when I pull the address up again, the exact same address is in the screenshot. It does not come up with the same place.
They might have blocked it since this all started.
See, what's weird is this, what it's showing right now, even in Google Earth, does not look like this. Unless I'm just missing it. I don't think I'm missing it. Unless I'm just missing it somehow.
Is it considered Westville?
I
don't remember that
think
name.
so. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, I'll talk to you about that offline because I don't, like I said, I don't want to put the address out there because it's not out there. I just happened to find it.
Gotcha.
And I don't, I just
didn't know what the name of the town was.
I'm sure anybody in that area probably knows the address and, and all that stuff.
Just River. What's not true?
Not true. Not true. It might have been what someone else put in the chat.
Yeah, maybe so. Because I wish they would do it where you could tell if they're replying to someone in the chat.
I know.
Yeah.
That'd be a great feature if they could do
Well,
that.
usually some people will put the @ in the person's name or put the person's name and then put not true or, so that you know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take this out down now so you can do the rest of it.
And Rob C said someone from that area said houses are about 500 kilometers apart in that area. And Michelle said there is no town. Well, there has to be a town to have a place to look up. It can't just be a road in the middle of nowhere. So it has to be they have to be
right.
Yeah, but
some. I mean, I know they're in Nova Scotia, but also there has to be an area or a locale.
Astrology from Mystics with Genesis. I'd like to hear from their tribe leader. What was their participation in their life?
Right. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, there was something else. Lori was saying, seriously, why would you get a lawyer if you were innocent? I think Lori might have missed that discussion.
Yeah, well, I think for a lot of people that have studied a lot of true crime or have listened to a lot of true crime, they would get a lawyer. I would if I were her. If I had any thought that I might be the target of the investigators, because innocent people sometimes go to prison, and you can get in an interrogation and mess up and it's the smart thing to do. Yeah, I saw this.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, kilometers would be long.
Our Canadian friends are going to have to forgive us on the getting kilometers and
500 kilometers would be pretty far.
Yeah,
Angel, thank you for correcting that. That's so funny.
Somebody had said, was it Angel that posted it first, or somebody put the houses were 500 kilometers apart, and then some of our Canadian friends were kind of like, no, they're not 500 kilometers.
Right. It was Rob. I'm sure that's what he meant.
Yeah.
And then also, Kelsey's right. Attorney can tell you when not to speak. You can also know when your rights are being trampled.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you want an attorney just because you're innocent and want to be protected.
False confessions and things like that happen. And I mean, things happen, so it seems it's kind of like pleading the fifth. It doesn't mean you're guilty, but there are times when it's smart to use that tool.
Jersey Lady 1 just said this. Read that.
We have a family lawyer, just like we have a family doctor and a family dentist and a family clergyman. That doesn't mean we're guilty of anything, just ready for anything that happens in our life.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it can be, I know.
Michelle said it's just a road in the middle of nowhere. And somebody says it's in Pictou County.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. It is. But when the Lansdowne station seems to be the nearest to the house, seems to be the nearest, or Lansdowne seems to be the nearest whatever.
Do y'all want to do the mom? I have her interview. If we want to see.
Yeah, let's watch it. It's not very long. It's like 3 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Yes, and I don't think any of theirs are very long.
Yeah, and unless somebody knows of something else, this is the only interview I know that she's done. Let me make it bigger.
You're getting so good. I'm not going to have to be here.
If I can get to where I help you edit the videos,
You won't need
That'd be-
me anymore. Divorce City.
There you go.
I'm just staying
Oh.
as hopeful as possible. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them
Why isn't there
home.
sound?
I want to hold them.
I can hear it.
Oh, you
I
can?
can hear it. Yes.
Hope as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them,
It's not synced up.
and I want them home.
Oh, it is synced up.
What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the
Is she done talking?
huge search effort going on right now. But
You really can't hear it?
I can't hear it.
I hear it. I hear all of it.
I don't know what. Is she still talking?
Yes. It's,
Oh, okay.
The whole interview is her talking.
Okay, because I couldn't tell if she was.
Do you want my headset?
It's okay either way, but I don't know why I can't hear it.
But
I'm sure I did
also,
something wrong.
do you hear the screaming in the background?
Well, I can't hear
Yes,
anything.
I do.
I mean, it's loud screaming. I'm just
Okay,
wondering
so-
who's screaming.
I'll just keep playing it till y'all say we're done.
Can you see the blue line?
Yeah, I just can't. I just can't hear anything.
That'll be when
Are
it's
you?
done.
Did you unplug your headphones again?
Maybe they can.
No, you wouldn't be able to hear me.
Myself.
That's so
That's
weird.
so weird. Yeah.
Well, I'll just play it.
Watching for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing.
Here.
We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Yeah. So, I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm going to remove that.
Okay.
So, what was weird? I could hear like the drone and the cars, but I couldn't hear her.
That's bizarre.
It would come in and out just with the vehicles. It was like,
How did it sound for you guys?
I don't know.
I could hear it.
I can
turned
hear it
my-
fine.
I
It's
turned my
gotta
volume
be.
up a little because it was low, but my volume wasn't all the way up. So when I turned it up, I could hear it just fine. I mean, yeah, I heard everything she said.
So, is that your first time hearing that, Auntie?
No, I had heard that before. I had seen that one, and but the screams, I had seen someone mention about the screaming, so I specifically listened, and
I heard it.
Hear the screaming in that when I listened to it again. I didn't. First time I was focusing on her voice, and I wasn't totally drowning out everything else. But that time I kind of listened to the background, and you could hear loud screaming.
Okay. What's your take on her? Anything stand out?
The lack of emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, she has no emotion. It's like she has gone over, much like other people that we have kind of reviewed their YouTube videos and things where they've spoken very rehearsed, like it was, we did this, then we did this. It was very a story. It was like a narrative that was made up and produced. That's kind of and I see a lack of emotion. It just seemed very similar to the Sebastian Rogers
They were
case. They were playing, and I was drifting in. It just sounds like a story we've heard before.
Yeah, it's the patterns. We see these patterns with these people.
And
I do think there's a problem with them all.
That was like what Skid Victim said. She contradicts herself, and then the subtle reminder of kidnapping is a possibility. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, I didn't like. There's a lot of stuff that's troublesome that she says.
I would love to see Deception Detective's review of her.
Oh, he's done several videos on this now.
He did a new one today, but I mean, we could probably look at his or brief, right? We could probably look at a little bit of one.
He always does such a great job summarizing what he finds, and I don't know, but I see the same glaring things that we've seen in other cases.
Yeah, the one thing he'll talk about, I've what other than one he did today, I've seen all the others, but he talks about the odds, like the odds of it being a like a stranger danger. Like the realistic odds of that are extremely low. Even if there is an abduction, it's usually somebody so it's far more likely that it would be a neighbor or family member, pastor, or something like that, or somebody in the home.
And somebody just said, Divine Lee said she doesn't have a sense of urgency, and she doesn't really have a sense of alarm.
And I'll tell you, that's one thing about the stepfather. He seems more urgent acting.
I mean, it looks like he's been out in the woods every time he talks. Like he looks filthy, like he's been sweating and hiking through the woods or whatever.
And another thing, people were talking about the scratch on his face. I'm like, he probably, have you seen that brain? He probably ran into some branch while he was searching.
Oh, this is something that's interesting. I did not know. Patty says Nova Scotia has 3 times more human trafficking than any other province in Canada.
That's possible too, right?
That is something if we keep digging on this story, that we'll go down that path to see what that's like, and what that situation's like in Nova Scotia.
I also think it is odd that she, and that just may be what they call people there, but she doesn't call him her boyfriend. She does call him her partner. And that is a weird turn of phrase, but maybe that's what they say in Canada more so than boyfriend. I don't know. But it is odd.
I think that's weird when people do that too, but I've heard it before.
Yes,
I've heard it here before. I don't know why. It's just become kind of a thing.
Yeah, Jen said that's why I'm wondering about the tribal communities. Yeah.
I don't think you could rule out a trafficking situation.
Oh, that's a great
especially
question.
if they kind of run in some shady circles there.
And that's also the area of Nashville is also got a lot of water outlets, and that's why you have seen so many arrests recently in Nashville for the same thing, the trafficking, because of the water outlets. That's how they get people out. They get them on boats and they get them out quickly, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Colin.
It's like
welcome to the Crime Dogs.
Yeah,
You're a crime
Colin.
dog now. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Rob said she could have been on drugs, but something was off. I don't think she looked or seemed drugged there, but she definitely had a lack of emotion.
Joanne says she reminded me of KP, in my opinion.
I felt like the demeanor was similar, but someone did point out, and I don't know if it was on it might have been on the lab, that it's or it might have been Chris McDonough or someone saying that oftentimes when stressful things like this happen, people are given something to help them relax,
given a Xanax or something
to help them relax in these situations, and it I don't know. Think about it
It is
when you
possible.
lose someone, doctors will often prescribe you something to get through the funeral.
Yep.
I know a person that happened to, but even though she was given something, she still had emotion. She was a little subdued, but she still cried and cried. So it wasn't, I still saw emotion, and I saw that firsthand, even when she was taking
I
something.
have to tell a personal story.
I don't know this story, Thought Criminal. I haven't heard this one.
And welcome in. When Mr. E's mom passed away, his father, we were talking to him, and we were like, the doctor can give you something to help you relax, because it was devastating. It was sudden, it was devastating. And his father said, "Oh, I've already got something." We're like, "Oh, well, that's great. You already have something that you can take." And he said, "Yep, 2 Tylenols. That's all I need." I'm not even kidding. And we were just like, that's not what we meant.
That's his cure for everything.
That was his cure for everything.
It is.
Hey, but if he thought it made him feel better, then that's all he needed,
It no matter what's wrong, that's what he thinks.
Mimi Ma said, watch Mob Crew on this one time.
Oh, we watch Mob Crew.
I haven't seen him cover this, but he does great. He does great work. So I'm sure I'll check him out at some point.
Right. Divine Lane says the comparison to Chris Watts. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant by some of the language, like them sleeping in their beds. I mean, Chris Watts said that like nearly verbatim.
Yeah, we saw somebody do a comparison video with
already.
That. Yeah, with Chris Watts. I don't know who did it. I saw it somewhere. But yeah, So Rob giving the benefit of the doubt, which I'd like to do too, actually. Just giving the benefit of the doubt, to be fair, she also could have some sort of developmental disorder, since the kids do too.
Yes, and I actually read that somewhere that tribal that is not abnormal to have slower edge, or not slower. What was it? I read. I'll think of it. There was something about being behind like typical public school, tribal schools.
Oh,
something like that. I don't know if that's true.
Like they don't.
That
like their program doesn't move as quickly as the typical
correct.
public school.
Exactly. I read that somewhere. Again, I read so much stuff in the past few days about this, trying to learn it, that I can't even remember.
Robbie says, I think she sounds like KP maybe, or through pauses, but if I close my eyes, even her voice, I thought so too. There's a very similar, just a pattern to the way they speak.
So sorry,
it's almost a cadence.
Yes, that's what it is.
And I like I said, it feels like a rehearsed story, and that kind of brings me to what Divine she said it a minute ago. Divine Lee said, in my honest opinion, I feel like they were gone before that Friday at 8 a.m. I think that's when they planned to tell this story. They could have very well been gone days before they called it in. And it does sound like a story. Like the Sebastian case, it sounded like a story. And I don't know if it was before that date or not, but I do feel that same kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of what Deception Detective gets at. If you watch his, and his are doing great. They're like 100 and some thousand.
Oh yeah.
And he's wonderful. We love him. So we highly recommend going and checking his out. I think he's got another one that went up a couple hours ago.
So one thing so if we're comparing between the Sebastian Rogers and this case, Katie does the same thing. There's a part of her story that I've always believed is a total fiction. And that's when the night before Sebastian's missing, around 9:45, until she finds him gone the next morning, I've always thought that's all fake. None of that's real, or very little of it. And when she tells that story originally in some of those early interviews, she goes from past tense through the truthful part where they're out at dinner and going bowling and all that, until she gets to the phone call. Then it all becomes present tense, and all the way through that morning. And that's something that this lady does too. When she gets to the part where they're not there and all that, and it all goes present tense, and
it's so similar.
Because the idea is that you're living, you're not telling something that happened. You're telling something you're trying to even
almost
convince yourself,
visualizing that happened.
You're telling a story now. You're not telling an event from the past. And she does that. It's very similar to the way Katie did that.
Hello, Anne. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. And then I wanted to see. This is kind of interesting from Casey Lips.
Summer Wells 2 with the dogs track the kids to the end of the driveway. Kids are just gone. Candace not making sense like mom.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting how similar the story is to so many different stories in other ways. Yeah, I can completely see how people think this is like Summer Wells.
Well, the first thing I heard when she talked about how sweet the kids were, it reminded me of the way Megan Boswell talked about Evelyn. She was so sweet.
She was so good, and she loved everybody. The same statements.
And the same thing about how she would talk to people and strangers. And so, and we know Megan's guilty because she's been convicted. And that what she was trying to plant, we think, looking back, Megan was trying to plant the idea that her daughter might have walked up to a stranger and been abducted or gone with someone, talking about how she would talk to anybody. And that's almost what this lady seems to be trying to do too, is plant the idea that her kids would talk to anybody, talk your ear off, no sense of stranger danger and all that, so that hopefully we'll believe the idea that they went with a stranger, even though they're out in the middle of nowhere on a dirt road that nobody would be. You'd have to be targeting that child to drive up that road.
Exactly.
Unless they made it off the property somehow. And it was what do they call it? A crime of opportunity or something, where you happen to have a predator happen to drive by.
Are you talking about Summer?
No, I'm talking about these two kids now. The idea that it's a stranger danger to me would be very, very low because of where they are.
Right.
That a stranger would drive up that dirt road, find
not
those kids in their
far off the road.
Yeah, but they're behind a fence in their yard.
Seems like it's off of a highway though, so the cars are probably driving pretty fast.
So, but you'd have to have a stranger that felt comfortable.
Right. You're right. It would have to be somebody they knew.
If you're out somewhere like that, I'm not driving up country roads to even
in
if
the
I'm
middle
a predator.
You're
getting shot.
Right.
You don't go up country roads and go onto people's property to talk to children. You're forfeiting your life most likely if you do that here. Maybe that's different in Canada, but you don't know what's up on a property like that. That's not somewhere unless you knew the kids. You're not driving up a road like that to try to snatch a child from their backyard that's fenced in with a dog in the morning. The only way that would make sense to me is if the kids had left the property, went down to that main road, thought they were walking somewhere on some adventure like kids do, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Then I could imagine
they thought they were going to school.
Yeah. Kids just get ideas. Maybe they thought they were going down to some creek or some place they knew, whatever. Maybe that's something like that. And then a stranger driving by goes, a predator type might pull over and say, "Hey, what are you kids doing?" And then take the opportunity. Maybe that.
It just seems like an odd thing for a predator to do in the middle of the morning. It doesn't seem like a morning thing.
Right.
I just don't see predators out country roads in the middle of nowhere looking for children that might have escaped their home.
Well, that's what he's saying. It would have to be someone. That's why he said it can't be a crime of opportunity, or
it would be a crime of opportunity. You would have a person that has that drive naturally. Maybe they weren't looking for a child that morning, but when they see a child alone, they take the opportunity to grab them.
Right.
That's the only way a stranger situation could make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just still think that's extremely unlikely.
Ooh, Kelsey.
Boot prints, but no tire prints.
Very good.
At least not that's been talked about to the public. If there is any. And if that big party was there, I'm sure they're checking all that too.
And thank you for being a member for 9 months. I didn't even know we had a channel that long. No, I'm just kidding. Today's our anniversary.
Yes,
today's our 1 year anniversary. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Ryan McPherson says we have guns and I've been shot at in Nova Scotia.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the out in the further you get out in the country, the more likely people are to be armed because they can't rely on police to protect them. So that's why the idea of driving up that little dirt road to go talk to some kids behind a fence no way. I can't. That's not possible to me.
Okay. Divine Lee says the way the stepdad describes the backpack in detail and how it's probably brown is also strange, in
It
my
is.
opinion. I agree 100%. I thought that was bizarre.
I think that's weird.
I know, you guys. Isn't that funny that we've been doing this a year? It feels like we've been doing it a minute.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Holly.
We didn't realize it was our anniversary until we started talking. And then we realized that our very first stream was May 12th, 2024. And so how funny is that? That we just happened to be going live today. We weren't planning on going live today, but we just kind of decided at the last minute we were going to. All three of us were in the mood to do it. So we're able to, and like had our afternoons free. So we were able to do it.
And this was a point that somebody brought up, and I know there is a biological father. I thought he was in prison, but it said, could it be the biological dad who took them? Could it be the money drug exchange?
Well, I thought I've heard a couple of things. I've heard that he's under house arrest, and I've heard that he's in prison. I'm sure Justin has exactly what happened. So I would check out one of Justin's streams. I'm sure he does.
About his criminal
because I haven't
record?
looked into him. Yeah.
I know somewhere we had heard that he seems to be that the family is saying he hasn't been in touch with them in years.
Right.
So if he suddenly wants to see his kids,
What are you doing, Aunt?
Sorry about
I mean,
that.
I guess it's possible.
Are you watching other things while you're streaming?
No,
If they
I'm
don't-
trying to help my son who's having difficulties logging in to something, and I am trying to help him.
He's been having a lot of difficulties with that lately. It's really funny.
I think they're probably looking at if they don't already have suspects of some kind, then they'll look at every family member.
Of course. Aw. That's so sweet. You guys are so
Thank you,
sweet.
Kelsey. Rob Beanie says that Justin said that he's on house arrest.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's what we had read somewhere.
S butterfly kisses. See, I missed the other S. I remember when it used to be
SS
SS butterfly kisses. Member for 10 months. Wow, I've been a member for 10 months. Hugs. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. You guys, and you know who you are. It's just such a pleasure to hang out with you guys and have the opportunity to do that and get to know you. And Grandma Chachi, you too. It's just such a pleasure. I mean, we've met some really wonderful people, like wonderful lifelong friends on here, and it's just kind of been amazing. We are very blessed to have you all.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll do this. So I was looking
But
for
you're not doing good on the
anything-
thumbs up. You need to give us more thumbs up today. I'm just kidding. We are only at, hold on, let me see how many. I'm going to give you guys a hard time.
because we already did the
413 thumbs up. We're slacking on the thumbs up, friends. I'm just teasing.
So I wanted to pull this up because there's been so little directly from the mom. There might be more out there, but as we find it, we'll want to share it. But this is another statement from Malaya. This was on our Facebook page. I want an Amber Alert for my children. I want my babies home. My children are not shy to strangers and will go with anyone they don't understand stranger danger. At this point, they may have been taken. Please send an Amber Alert now. So anyway, I just wanted to read that since that was just something.
Are we
else from the mom.
100% sure that's her page?
That's
just a screenshot.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you might have a point there.
I thought they said that she closed her
Right.
social media.
Yeah, but I think this was from
Ryan's got a good point. And Real Me Too says, yes, my new favorite friend. Aw.
But-
And then Ryan's got a good point.
Well,
Ryan says, I would believe they were abducted before I would believe they are missing in the woods.
I think that you might be thinking along the lines
Yeah.
of the police right now.
Because, like, if the kids went into the woods, a 4 and 6-year-old, they're going to get scrapes. They're going to brush up against things that kind. They're going to leave a trail. There would be a scent. There'd be evidence, I think, too.
Yeah.
Lisa Frozen says, my opinion is that the kids were missing a lot longer than 20 minutes before 911 call went in. I think parents are not telling the whole truth.
I think you might be right. I mean, it's hard to know right now. I feel like we're going to get more details if we're just patient. I really do feel like
Yeah.
there's going to be more details. Grandma Chachi.
I'm
Aw.
not leaning toward the idea that they did some like they committed the most horrible act on the kids. You know, like took their life and then just something. I would lean more in the direction of some accident, neglect, partying, something along those lines, maybe. But I mean, I'm pretty open to anything at this point. But that's just kind of where I'm thinking right now. Are you kind of leaning that way too?
Yeah, I was just happy. Our sweet GTO guy says I'm still at work, but congrats on 1
Thank you,
year.
GTO guy.
And it's funny. Middle E was looking at our analytics because we don't understand that stuff. So Middle E was looking at our analytics and he was like, "You have all women that watch your channel." And I said, "All? I'm pretty sure it's not all.
Not all.
It's not all.
We have some guys.
I know. That's what I was gonna. I'm gonna have.
There's also car guy.
Yes, there's and Ryan
and Graham
and Rob.
Yeah.
Yep, we have some.
We have some guys. We have Graham and we have
I don't
Garrett.
know.
Don't forget
Ryan-
Garrett.
Ryan can be a girl or a boy name, but there's a
That's
Ryan.
true.
So if Kelsey's is of the opinion, I think they messed up neglect. If it's something like an accident, they were out of it for days. I mean, then there's a lot of possibilities. They might have just woken up and the kids were gone, and they just don't know what happened. Right?
Oh, right.
I mean,
right.
maybe that's and they don't quite want to say, well, we were on a 4-day bender or whatever.
Right. That's what I was saying. There could be guilty knowledge from something else.
Yeah, I mean,
and hi, girl mom.
It
She
doesn't
said,
mean that they did anything horrible. It could,
girl mom says,
Sorry.
I just learned about the Brandy Elliott case today from Hendersonville. That was horrible. We actually covered that. And then I think she took a plea deal.
Yeah.
We did cover it. He actually went over to where they're trying to rename it, or did they end up renaming it Piper's Pass?
I think they were trying to. They got a bench over there and her memorials over.
He went over there and recorded it, but we never put it up.
No, I don't know why we didn't ever do it, but I was actually recorded the walk. And just so you know which case we're talking about, this was a little girl in Hendersonville, Tennessee named Piper. She was 7 years old. And what she's talking about with Brandy is her mother was at their apartment and the little girl wanted her attention or something. And she was like, I need
some time alone.
Got frustrated and then walked her across the street to Drake's Creek. It's more like a lake really. And walked her down this like path, like a jogging kind of path that goes along the creek. Would have been about a 15-minute walk, and then took her to the edge of the water and drowned her with her hands, and killed her.
A park. It was crazy.
It was a nightmarish thing. And the dad was in the hospital at the time, recovering from.
And he was the primary caregiver.
And it
was a horrible case. A horrible case.
Terrible. Just did it with their bare hands, just out of.
And admitted it.
Admitted it. Yeah, admitted it to everybody. And
graphically described what she did.
Yeah, we're not going to get into all that, but
I'm just saying she was very graphic about the description. She didn't hold anything back.
It was cold. It was really cold, and beautiful little girl, and
so sad. So sad.
Yeah. So she was potentially facing the death penalty because that was just, on the table, and she pled out on that, and it's not going to get that. But it's a terrible story. And I went down and filmed the walk to kind of show, because the idea at the time was, well, she lost her temper. Is this first degree? Is this and I wanted to just show just how long she would have had to have walked to that point to not be able to. It's not a situation where you just snapped. She had to walk like a 15-20 minute walk with this little girl down to the spot that she took her life. Plenty of time to kind of like the idea that you just had a moment. She had plenty of time to calm down and get it together. But yes, so it's a terrible story. And girl mom is saying that her lawyer didn't even want to have her tested for insanity. I had met her at a restaurant she was working
Yeah,
at.
she was his server.
Yeah, she worked at a nearby diner that I had seen her a couple of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a terrible story. And yeah, I mean, no sympathy for her whatsoever. Just
oh, I know. Well, I believe she had people right after the act walk up on her.
They did. They
Yeah.
tried to save her.
They tried to save the little
Mhm.
girl, did CPR on her and everything, and couldn't save her.
And something about drowning someone, it takes several minutes
Yes,
to
several.
take that life. Like,
And we didn't know that until that case, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you just put somebody in the water for 10 seconds. You'd have to hold them down there for several minutes. And so she had that 20-minute walk to calm down, and another 5 to, like, at some point have something go off in her mind that this is wrong, and didn't. It was just terrible.
And Renee, that was Brandy Elliott is the mother, and Piper Elliott was the daughter, and that happened last summer in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I think around July.
Yeah, I don't remember the date, but last summer. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Michelle. We're glad to have you here. Do you want to keep going with the live tonight, or do you want to?
I think we should wrap it up. I think we probably have a lot of friends that are probably going live, and we've got to eat dinner.
We
And
did
I
3 hours, and that's
keep
usually
meaning to say hi to Lolo.
Oh, hi, Lolo. The reason she gave for wanting an Amber Alert was because she got a message from someone who didn't know the kids were missing. That's not an Amber Alert.
Right. And I forgot to say hello to Diane Highland, all of our friends, and Linda Hope. Thank you for being here as well. I don't recognize your name. Oh, that's funny. SS changed it to Shauna Butterfly Kisses. Somebody said SS meant stuff. Oh,
SS meant stuff for Nazis, and I didn't want anything about that. See, I was thinking like a ship.
I was like the
a
SS
boat.
Minnow.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah,
So
that's what
I never thought you were a Nazi.
I've never heard that.
Oh,
that's
that's
funny.
so
That's
funny.
funny.
And
Well-
Kelsey says we're pretty. Thank you, Kelsey. We
Oh,
appreciate
thanks.
I don't
that's
feel very
funny.
pretty today. I
Well-
feel like I need a highlight.
The good thing is I actually had a ton of stuff to still do on this case that
Yeah,
I've
we're
got
gonna
pulled
keep
up.
going.
So we've got to do all this stuff with the stepdad, and I found some really interesting articles that I wanted to get into too. And then, of course, this is just 10 days in to this story, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more developing.
Mhm.
We could get into deception detective stuff later on.
Yeah.
Um,
We're going to try to go live more frequently, guys. I promise we're going to try. We're at least going to try when we go to the beach. Right? We joked
sure.
about
yeah.
we joked about going live that whole week. So we'll see. Maybe we should just take everybody to the beach with us and just do some lives driving by the beach.
Yeah. So we'll we could do that too.
Aw. The E's are beautiful inside and out. Mrs. E gives the best hugs. I do. So do you, though. You have been such a blessing to our lives.
Oh.
Sharon Marlowe, I've got to call you. I need to call you. I'm going to call you very soon. Well, actually, you texted me, didn't you? Okay, I'll text you after the show.
Yeah, we could do that too. Well, we just need to prep for that because I don't want to bore everybody to tears with the dead air.
There's a lot of dead air, and there's a lot of stuff that is not important.
We just have to have time to go through there and timestamp and get to the good stuff that's of interest. So we're not, yeah.
And we want to go too, Sharon, and we can't wait.
Yes, we do it every year. We meet in Florida and take a beach vacation together. That's kind of a thing. And with our son with autism, it's like we have to go now.
Once you get the pattern going with him, you have to do it every year. So
we have to go.
I would love to tell you that we have a schedule. We just don't. And we never know really when we're going to go live until usually the day of.
But
Tabitha was asking.
Once school's over, and things will calm down for you guys.
Yeah, we had even thought about going daily at one point and just kind of doing some, just some updates of various things. And we just can't find the time to do it between our other jobs.
We were joking last time. We're always like the blue light special of true crime because we're just like
last minute. Hey, I was proud. We did it like 40 minutes early. I put it up 40 minutes before.
You did.
Okay. Sharon says we have to take her to the beach. So we're going to take Sharon to the beach.
And
Very
those of
good,
you
very
that
good.
watch a lot of true crime, please share us on other channels. Let us people know we're out here and what we cover and our technique and the way we do it. We would love to have some more people join us and enrich us with their dialogue and let us know what they think. We like all
We
those
like new
thinkers.
friends.
Yeah,
We
if you
do.
like, this is our approach. So if you like the brainstorming, the kind of talking everything through, looking at what evidence there is, and trying to piece things together, kind of open-minded approach. That's kind of how we do it.
And we're big on critical thinking here. We try really hard to not jump to conclusions and try to use our critical thinking on stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a fascinating case. I'm going to be interested to follow it. I mean, the children is heartbreaking. Those pictures, man, they get me. There's some sweet 4 and 6 years old. It's just that age is just so precious.
Aw, new friend.
And
We have a new friend.
Yay.
Hi, Mama First. Thank you very much.
We try really hard, Big Dreams, Tiny Budget. We try really hard. Oh my goodness.
tough.
And you became a member. You just made
Well,
my
thank you
day.
for that.
Because I
Thank
love
you.
your name. And I like saying Big Dreams, Tiny Budget. That's awesome.
Story of our lives.
We're going to do our best on these rumors. We're still learning this case a bit, so we'll keep kind of trying to nail this down on what's a fact and what's not.
Rob.
Well, thank you, Rob. There's some good people out
You're
there.
gonna look, I'm tearing up at Rob. Oh my goodness, you guys are the best. Thank you, Rob. Girl Mom asked if we would be consider doing the Holly Bobo trial back in 2000.
Mr. E's followed that one for many years.
I'm interested in that story anyway, and I like looking back at older historic cases anyhow. And Holly Bobo is very interesting. And actually, so
well, Girl Mom
do you
has
mean, like, watch the trial, like do a live, like just
yeah,
play
she's
the
saying
trial?
watching the Holly Bobo trial.
I didn't watch it, so that would be interesting.
And Girl Mom has a channel as well, so maybe we could come up with something together and do it together.
Oh, I didn't know Girl Mom had a channel.
I'm pretty sure she does.
Oh, you do? Do you do true crime?
Oh, you know what? She might be on the Tickety Talks.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Lisa Frozen said there's a good
It's a whole other
breakdown
way.
of the interviews. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's probably Deception Detective, right?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, they have those are really good too. I mean, he really.
Oh yes, it's on Law and Network. Remember?
Oh, okay.
We've talked about that before. Yes.
Gotcha.
I have to show this. Just River P2 says, I just love Mr. E's voice.
Well,
Well, I'm really glad that you do, because someone earlier accused him of being AI.
Yeah,
Oh, and look what Mama first
Hello,
said.
Mac.
I have heard about you guys. It's true. You're actually said to be one of the better channels. Well, we try very hard to stay out of the drama and really, be on above board on all we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate you checking us out. We've met a lot of new people tonight, so that's been fun. So I appreciate it. Shauna says,
okay, it's going to take a little bit to get used to.
I love to hear the process with someone else instead of just in my own head. My hubby is not diving into this as much as me with little kids.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I do get the children's stories. For some people, I can understand why people don't want to, explore those stories, because they can be really heartbreaking. I think there's still hope here, though, because we don't know what happened to these kids at all.
Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says you guys should have some more guests. We've only had one, and that was Joe Lesniak. So
Is he the only one we've ever had?
Yes. And you know what's funny is before Middley had his medical stuff, Jennifer Coffendoffer was talking to us about coming on, and we've talked to a few people.
There's a couple people we've talked about, like other
some detectives that are also some detectives we personally know.
Yeah,
that are not that are
I would
retired.
still like to do that. I think that would be a great thing to do sometime.
Yeah, he would do it. He would be glad to do it.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Well, let's let everybody get to dinner.
We need to get to dinner ourselves.
Thank you, Lori. It's very comfortable here. Thank you for a great show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And we try to, keep it relaxed, and we try to be respectful, and That's just the way we are. But we appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
And all you new people, we have a lot of new people tonight, so thanks.
We will my guess is our next live we will do about this case again, because there's still a lot I want to get to in this that we didn't get to do. Of course, anything else could come up. We may just go live about that. If there's a development in the Sebastian Rogers case or, others that we're interested in.
We are still going to be covering Sebastian. It's just right now we just, this seemed to take, this is kind of urgent, 10 days away, 10 days out.
Yeah, we would have liked to have even gone live about this earlier, because when these kids are missing, that time is of the essence. And I try to be hopeful on all this, especially when I don't know we don't know where they are. They could be with somebody. Folks were talking about it being such a big trafficking area. They could be out there. So so it's good to I know they're getting a lot of attention, but until there's answers, you almost can't have too much for them.
Yeah. And then Rob, I'm just kidding about our likes. I like to get a lot of likes, but at the same time, our percentages are always pretty good. Likes compared to views. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Mama First, we talked about the Idaho 4, and I think we are going to try to cover the trial when it goes to trial. But it's one of the big cases that we would like to.
It's wild.
Yeah, the deep dive into that is really deep,
and more stuff comes out every day about
we just want to we do stories that are interesting to us, and that is one that's interesting to all three of us. Like there's some like the Karen Reed trial I know there's a lot of interest in it. We just really weren't as interested in it.
No, it just bores me.
Well, it just wasn't. It just
Now we would have been big on the Murdaugh trial had it happened when we were live. We would have been.
Here we go again.
I would have been doing the court every day. I mean, it was fascinating. It's still fascinating.
Well, we need to do some kind of video or live or something about just a revisit.
Oh my stars! I told her she needs to start her own channel just about the Murdaugh trial, so she can talk about it every day.
Yeah, Real Me Too.
She and Real Me Too can just talk about it back and forth every day, all day. She loves it, guys. She secretly hopes that there's a retrial so that she can talk about it again.
I want to see them all go back up on the stand. It was that good. It's like wanting to watch your favorite movie over and over. It was fascinating.
You're so funny.
And Real Me Too, I am your Murdaugh friend.
I mean, they really are. And I guarantee those two will, if there's another case, those two will be in, I think it was in Savannah. They'll be headed that direction to sit in the courtroom and watch it. I guarantee it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I will try to make it to the next one for sure.
Well, I wouldn't mind I was talking about traveling today, and I wouldn't mind to go to Savannah again. It's been so long since we've been there. I love Savannah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's actually in the Low Country.
Thank you for your knowledge.
Just FYI.
They are sisters. If you don't know, they are sisters. So they do occasionally take shots at each other.
It's in the look. She knows it's funny. That's why she's laughing.
All right.
Yes.
All right. We're going to get off here.
All right.
Thank you for being here.
This is like getting off the phone with our grandma.
I know.
All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
And thank you to our mods for staying with us and helping us.
Thank you.